The Scottish Claymores have a return meeting with the only team they've beaten this season, the Frankfurt Galaxy. Pride on the line this afternoon for Scotland. Much more at stake for the Galaxy. After last night's results, the World Bowl picture now a little clearer. Amsterdam beating London, Barcelona beating the Rhine Fire. The Monarchs and the Fire are out of the World Bowl picture. Still alive, Frankfurt and Barcelona. Amsterdam already there, of course. Frankfurt, they have their destiny in their own hands. The Barcelona Dragons very much snapping at their heels, and the pressure is on as far as Ernie Stortner is concerned, because he knows that his team can go to the Bowl, but they have to win this week and next week in Barcelona to book their place against Amsterdam. A defeat either way, they're out, Barcelona are through. So the pressure's on as far as Ernie Stortner's team's concerned. So there's Ernie Stortner getting his men ready.
And the Galaxy coming off the big win against Amsterdam last week. Couldn't be a better situation for them in this game. Barcelona, because they were the second best team in the first half of the season, have the advantage. Frankfurt have to come out and win both games, and they know it.
Well, you'd have to say, on paper, that Jim Kreiner's team are going to be up against it this afternoon. Frankfurt looking much better and coming off a huge win last week against the Amsterdam Admirals, but Jim Kreiner's team has played it tough all year long, and of course they have that victory over the Frankfurt Galaxy.
They haven't been out of many games all season long. Their defense is still the second-rated defense in the league, and I defy you to find many situations in pro football where a 1-7 team would have the second-best defense in the league.
Darren Alcorn will get the game underway for the Frankfurt Galaxy. The Claymores will have their hands on the ball first of all. Back deep, Alan de Graffenried, Marcus Thomas and Lorenzo Graham, all in a line on around the 2-yard line. And Darren Alcorn gets things underway. A high kick fielded at the 8 by de Graffenried, who goes straight up the middle, gets past one blocker and gets over the 30-yard line. Another good return for de Graffenried. And the pressure's on for Matt Blundin, who is playing hurt. He has a serious left knee problem. Jim Kreiner was saying before the game, we just don't know how far this fella can take us.
And if he goes down, the guy they've signed to fill in for him is Jim Ballard, the London Monarchs backup quarterback.
So Matt Blundin takes over just inside his own 35-yard line on first down. Dropping back to pass and going long straight away, and got a man. And de Graffenried gets in for a touchdown, and the Claymores start off hot. On the very first play from scrimmage, Blundin 65 yards to de Graffenried.
And de Graffenried's working just one-on-one. Blundin gets great protection because he's back there and has enough time to let de Graffenried get open. And the ball's right there, leads him perfectly. And Jack Kellogg, one of the top cornerbacks in the World League, is the guy who was beaten.
What an explosive start. Sean Conley will kick the extra point for the Claymores. And a great start. The Claymores on top by 7. One play from scrimmage was all it took. 20 seconds off the clock, and the Claymores are on top.
And protection the key to that. Matt Blundin went back confidently. Lots of time to throw. Lots of time for de Graffenried to take care of Kellogg one-on-one.
So Matt Blundin comes out and does his job.
And here you see de Graffenried with that time. You see he doesn't come open until the ball's actually in the air. But Blundin's led him perfectly. He takes it into the end zone. What a start for the Claymores. It's what they've been waiting for all season. And it's been a long season for Matt Blundin, but look at it now.
He knows it's there, doesn't he? He knows it's there.
8 weeks of pain, and it's worth it.
There, Alan de Graffenried comes up with it. Big play for him, his third touchdown of the season. 65 yards, one play.
And Frankfurt, who come in here needing the win and coming in on a roll. Now, see what kind of effect that has on them.
Sean Conley will kick it off. Bellamy and Bailey back deep. It's not going to go very deep at all. It's fielded at around the 25-yard line. And into good territory goes Chris Hall. The defensive back gets it up to around the 45, 47-yard line. So Paul Justin, who's had an outstanding season so far for the Frankfurt Galaxy, when he's hot, he's unstoppable. Can he do what Blundin just did? Well, Chris Hall, thanks to that return of the kickoff, has got the Galaxy in pretty good field position all the way to the 45.
Justin's one of the toughest quarterbacks in the league. He'll stand in there and throw against any kind of pressure.
Blundin drops pressure, but he gets it off, and he too goes big, but nothing doing there. Coverage from James Williams, and nothing doing there for Bobby Olive, who has proven to be Paul Justin's favourite receiver. The other wideout starting Mario Bailey. Mike Bellamy, the H-back, had 3 touchdowns against Amsterdam last week. Nate Crazy Legs Bolton starts in the backfield. Bob Brasher, the underrated tight end, who scored a touchdown against the London Monarchs earlier in the season. The offensive line, Vickers and Russ McCullough on the right tackle, Pete and Dixon the guards, Toby Mills the centre. Russ McCullough 6'9", I think one of the tallest players in the World League.
He looked like a wrestler coming out before the game with his face painted and doing the walk out to the middle of the ring, and Justin went down with a hit after he let the ball go. You see they're looking at his legs.
Well, we saw one quarterback in trouble last night in Amsterdam. Let's see what's happened here.
And it's not so much a hit afterwards, it's just the press from the rush. His own player fell back on him, 62, the center, Toby Mills. And he's going to have, because the clock stopped, he's going to have to go out for at least a play, but you see him limping. Now, the backup quarterback is Brad Bretz, you see coming in here, whom they've just signed. A couple of years in the Dallas Cowboy camp, but out of Cal State Hayward. Not a whole lot of experience, and he's, as we said, he's only just signed with the team. They lost Brian Forte, who had been their second backup quarterback of the season. So it's a big test for him, for Brad Bretz.
Well, it's a tale of quarterbacks already in this game. Matt Blundin throwing a touchdown with his first play. Paul Justin knocked out of the game on his first play. Bretz, flag comes down, goes on the ground to Nate Bolton, who gets to around the 50-yard line, where he was nailed after a pickup of 5 yards. But there is a flag. Well, this defensive front of the Scottish Claymores very strong. Young and Brandon are the ends. Gerald Jeffcoat, Troy Ridgely, the run stoppers, and a penalty assessed against the Scottish Claymores front line. Paul Justin continues to get treatment, and it's a 2nd down and 5. They stay on the ground. Nate Bolton gets the carry once again. Bolton gets close to first down yardage, brought down short. Ricky Andrews, the linebacker, came up and made the stop. Brian Jones in there as well. The other starting linebacker is the former Miami Dolphin, Mark Sander. They'll be supported by Tim Brown, who will come in as the 4th linebacker, supporting those fellas. And it'll bring up 3rd down and short. Nate Bolton, fit again. He's been niggled with injuries much of the season. They reckon he's 100% now. Bolton gets the carry, turns outside, gets a first down, manages to run around outside of Rodney Thomas down to the 40-yard line. 1st down, Frankfurt. Rodney Thomas comes into the lineup, only joined the team last Sunday, but he comes in, the former Miami Dolphin, and goes straight into a starting job ahead of Darren Butler, James Williams, the other corner, Lewis and Coghill, the safeties. Lewis playing hurt as well. They're not sure how he's going to go.
And you get a good idea of why they call Nate Bolton crazy legs. On 3rd and short, it's a tough carry to make, squirming your way all the way outside for the 3 yards.
Brasher and Werner Hippler swap sides. They stay with Bolton on the ground, who takes a couple of steps back to get the running room he needs and picks up around 7 yards. George Coghill on the stop, the safety man.
And you had a good job out of Werner Hippler holding Alan Young off there so Bolton could get outside. They've got Hippler at tight end, 86, and look, watch him and Young. He's just going to have to hold him, and Bolton sees that and moves all the way around him. And you have to be really quick to be able to make that move around and pick up yardage like Nate Bolton just did.
He picked up 6 yards, bringing up a 2nd down and 4. Frankfurt doing it all on the ground since Paul Justin went out on that first play. And a fake, and Bretz goes, he's got Mario Bailey, it's a touchdown, Frankfurt. What a sensational start here at Murrayfield.
That was deep. So Brad Bretz, there he is with the congratulations, hasn't taken long to make his mark in the Frankfurt lineup. Nice fake, that's what makes the play action fake, and then it's Bailey one-on-one. And he beat the new man, Thomas, the cornerback. Safety couldn't get over in time. Another touchdown, and look at that fake. Now he holds the ball in there really well. Nobody saw it, and then just lets it go. Now that's casual. Look at that. And a first World League touchdown, not casual anymore for Brad Bretz.
Darren Alcorn, who's perfect on extra points, nails his 22nd consecutive extra point. So Brad Bretz has thrown a touchdown pass to Bailey. That's his 6th touchdown of the season, which ties the club record, and we're tied up at 7 apiece, 12:18 left. A sensational start. Scotland and Frankfurt, 7 apiece.
Catches a football, and then he has to get both feet down in bounds. It's an art peculiar to the National Football League. And
who was the best at that? Raymond Barry?
Oh, there's no question. You know, Raymond was such a gifted receiver that he spent endless hours practicing this routine of getting he called it the toe dance.
NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
A lot of men who go off to war,
A father's struggle
they just don't come back the same.
to make peace with his past
If you're looking for a fight, I'll fight you right now.
But I don't believe in fighting.
will teach his children
No! That's enough.
It's self-defense, Dad.
the true meaning of courage.
This is our house. Don't you think we ought to fight for it? Don't you recall a thing Daddy's taught us?
Elijah Wood, Kevin Costner, The War.
Playing this month on Direct Ticket.
Frankfurt using the run to establish the pass, 4 running plays, and then they burn the Claymores with the pass, and Mario Bailey takes it in for a touchdown. 7 apiece. And Darren Alcorn kicks it off. De Graffenried is back deep, so too is Marcus Thomas, and Lorenzo Graham, number 33, who'll be there primarily to block. So Alcorn gets it underway. De Graffenried again, fields at his own 4. Gets some blocks behind the wedge, gets past the 25, down to around the 27-yard line. Brown coming up, Norman Brown stopping him. Saran Stacey, what an outstanding year he's had for the Claymores, partnered in the backfield by Marcus Thomas. De Graffenried and Lee Harris starting at wide receiver. Dwayne Chandler, the tight end. Stacey leading the league in all-purpose yardage.
And you had some great work on the kickoff by Craig Thomas, the running back for Frankfurt. Not often you see running backs coming down on that.
So Blundin stays in, movement on the line, flags come in, Stacey goes up the middle to around the 37, 38-yard line. Johnny Dixon coming up from free safety, but there are flags, and there was certainly a lot of movement on the line. Let's see if we can get the call from our officials, and it's offsides against the Frankfurt Galaxy. So the offensive line revamped once again for the Claymores, as it has been all season long. They have 10 linemen now on their books. These are the 5 starters: Hewitt and Rogers at the tackles, Ismail and Big Tom Scott at guards, Tim Ryan at centre. New man that's come in this week is Frank Conover.
We should say, though, it is the same starting front 5 for 3 weeks in a row, which is a Scottish Claymore team record.
And they declined the penalty because Saran Stacey picked up 9 yards to bring up 2nd down and short. I wonder if Blunden may be thinking of going for it again. Both the cornerbacks standing 10 yards deep. They stay on the ground, conservative, safe. Don Reynolds, the defensive tackle, coming in and making the stop on Marcus Thomas. Mike Kerr in there as well. It's a very big defensive line. They've all contributed as far as sacks are concerned. Wilkins and Kerr, the outside men. Don Reynolds and John Baker from the Los Angeles Raiders are the 2 guys in the middle. First down on the 40-yard line for the Scottish Claymores, who had that sensational start, and nothing doing there for Marcus Thomas, who runs into a whole bunch of trouble in the shape of David Wilkins. And the second effort got him nothing. Reynolds in there as well, and it's a loss of 5 yards on the play.
And watch Wilkins, 74, fights off the blocker, comes down, grabs him from behind, and wrestles him back. Thomas tries to keep going, but there's nowhere to go.
So 2nd down and long for the Claymores. Saran Stacey goes in motion, wide left. Blunden drops, pressure comes. Blunden feels the pressure and is in trouble, and it's a loose ball, and it's recovered by the Claymores. The offensive lineman stayed at home. Looked like Ernie Rogers, the tackle, picked that one up.
And Blunden had a little bit of time to throw, but when he reacts to the pressure, now watch him come up. He doesn't see a receiver, and then he moves into trouble. He saw Stacey, but Stacey was covered by the time he started to move, and a good pickup by Ernie Rogers, who thinks he's going to get some yardage out of it.
3rd and a bunch. Darryl Mitchell goes in motion. Blunden drops, has time this time, goes the other way, but can't find Alan de Graffenried. So a very different offensive series this time for the Claymores, who were hot first time out, but not much doing for them there.
And you saw how they're keying on Saran Stacey. They got him as he tried to come out of the backfield. He never even got downfield on that play.
So out come the special teams. Sean Conley will handle punts. He's averaging 28.3 net. His gross is much better. Bobby Olive, so dangerous, back at his own 22-yard line. Flag comes in. End over end kick. Olive steps up, but it takes a good Frankfurt bounce and is down at around the 34, but a flag straight away in the Claymores backfield.
Be an interesting one. It was only a 29-yard punt.
Violation of the substitution rule. Number 22 came in the ball game, did not come inside the numbers. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
The Frankfurt will take the field position. The penalty, when you line up on the punts, a lot of the players who play on the inside of the line have the backfield numbers, and they have to report to the referee to tell him that.
So Paul Justin not coming back. Brad Bretz comes in. The report on Justin is a twisted ankle. They don't expect him to return, and he's certainly hobbling around on the sideline there. So Brett's really catapulted into the firing line, just as Brad Levo was for the Amsterdam Admirals against the London Monarchs last night. And on the ground again, and Nate Crazy Legs Bolton trips his way for only a couple. Alan Young nailed him.
And Bolton, who got the name Crazy Legs from one of his German teammates, who then translated into German, Die Verrücktenbeiner in German, which is a phrase that doesn't naturally exist in that language.
I think Crazy Legs is better.
It doesn't quite have the ring to it, does it?
Nate Bolton, who's had all sorts of injury problems, had a partly separated shoulder, had a leg injury. Ernie Staunton says he's fit now. And it's a completion to Mario Bailey, who picks up close to 1st down yardage. They're working Rodney Thomas, the new man in from the Miami Dolphins.
And you'll watch Mario Bailey go to work on Thomas. On the right, it's just a quick pattern, short drop. And look at the room he's getting. And it's one thing to come over and practice for Rodney Thomas and look really good, but it's a whole nother thing when you have your first contact in many, many months to get back into the feel of the game.
Well, Jim Kreiner was saying Thomas looked so good in practice, they moved him ahead of Darren Butler. But the Galaxy and Brad Bretz in particular are working him over at the moment. Nate Bolton gets a bit of running room, but is immediately shut down and nailed. Full pops loose, but the ball was down. Mike Brandon, along with Brian Jones on the stop, and Crazy Legs felt that one.
A little draw play set up for Bolton to take advantage of that quickness, but Mike Brandon's quickness a little too much for him as he ran him down from behind. They let the defensive ends rush in, and then he came back to make the stop. Bolton can play wide receiver, can play running back, even played a little quarterback in college. A very versatile guy.
2nd down and 9. Brett drops to pass, dumps it off over the middle to his tight end Bob Brasher, who picks up around 12 yards and a 1st down. Mark Sander on the stop. Help from George Coghill.
And Brasher starts off on the left of your screen from the tight end position. Now watch, he's just going to run a little short hook. The linebacker's got one zone, the safety's got the other, but they're both playing off of him. They have to come up. Good gain, 1st down.
This, of course, a must-win game for the Frankfurt Galaxy, who can go to the World Bowl, but only if they win here and in Barcelona next week. A defeat anywhere, they're out. The handoff is to Bolton, who stops, dances, and runs into trouble. Mike Brandon, number 95, drew a bead on him, and Bolton looked for running room. Brandon got him one side, Jones got him the other, down he went.
They're trying for a trap here, and watch the pulling guard, then tackle right there, and there's a hole, but they run into each other. Bolton can't get through it. Dixon couldn't hold the block, and so Bolton gets stopped behind the line of scrimmage, but you saw the hole there as Dixon and McCullough came down the line.
A loss of 3 yards on the play, 2nd down and 13. Brett drops to pass. Still looking, Gerald Jeffcoat's after Brett and pushes him out, and that'll lose a couple more. Alan Young came up and helped Jeffcoat.
And it's Alan Young who really made that play because they were looking for Nate Bolton coming out of the backfield, and Alan Young, the defensive end, actually dropped off into coverage on Bolton and stayed with him. Now take a look, Bolton's coming to left and Young goes off the block, and you see him leave the screen and follow Bolton down. Then when he sees it's a run, he comes up and he's in position to make the tackle.
Well, we talked to Ernie Staunton before the game, and way back in week 3, Mike, Staunton said he reckons the Scottish Claymores have the best defensive unit in the league, and he said nothing has changed his mind.
No, as we said at the top of the show, 2nd best defense in the league belies a 1-7 record.
It certainly does, and Ernie Staunton has nothing but admiration for them. And there's a timeout on the field, and Ernie Staunton getting it on with one of the officials.
Give it any time to get in there. Now that's wrong. That's wrong. That is wrong.
What Ernie's complaining about is the game time, the play clock. They run it down from 35 seconds, and the clock restarts as soon as the ball is down on the previous play, which doesn't leave you much time to make substitutions, and it doesn't leave a player who's knocked out of bounds, as Bolton was on that play, much time to get up and get back to the huddle. And that's what he's complaining about. But that's the way the rule goes. There's nothing much you can do, but Nate Bolton a tough time.
Brad Bretz seeing his first meaningful action of the season in week 9, and certainly made a composed start. That 33-yard touchdown to Mario Bailey will certainly have settled his nerves. But this, a big 3rd down for the Galaxy, 3rd and 16. And it's a passing down. Brett gets protection and is nailed. Alan Young came storming through. The protection was there. Then it broke down, and they finally got him. Gerald Jeffcoat, I think, with the impact.
Absolutely. You'll see Young. It's the pressure from the outside, from the end, Young and Brandon. So he steps forward, and that's where Gerald Jeffcoat, you saw spinning off the block by Toby Mills, and nailed him.
Alcorn will punt. Marcus Thomas will step up, calls for the fair catch at the 19-yard line. So the Claymores defense holds firm once again, and it remains at Murrayfield. The Claymores 7, the Galaxy 7.
Sam used every wall in the house for a backboard.
He looks just like me anyway, so I think he got that from me.
That's my boy! He can do that maneuvering and get by.
I like to see Kenny when he steals it. So he can steal a ball. 58 feet out. Swish.
He makes me feel 10 feet tall just to talk about him.
Kenny would get it.
Guess he got it from his mother.
Different types. Unitas was a quarterback that would get the snap, go back into the pocket, and he would wait and wait till the last possible instance to throw the football, and then take the hit after he threw the ball. Marino is a quarterback that gets back there, makes the quick decision, fires the ball, and it's an explosion when he lets that football go.
NFL Sunday Ticket up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
Kick off this summer with a celebration of Americana. Wave the flag and salute the red, white, and blue. Pay tribute to our country's great leaders and blast off for one great summer. World Champion Ticket.
7 apiece, Scotland and Frankfurt. Ben Torriero there, the former Harrogate Hawk, feeling the strain.
On that, he got knocked up on that last punt. He's biting the bullet there, using the mouth guard to do the old John Wayne. Take a bite on this.
Tough guy, Torriero. So Matt Blundin, one completion. It was spectacular. 65 yards to Alan de Graffenried. And he's playing hurt, left knee problems. On the ground, Saran Stacey tries to cut around and doesn't get past the safety, Greg Briggs.
Briggs coming up fast as they see Stacey get the ball. They have to key on him. Here comes Stacey. Good job of stripping the coverage, stripping the blocking, and Briggs takes advantage of that. Plays right behind the linebacker, so the linebacker can take on the blocker, and he's free to make the tackle.
Gain of a couple. Blundin throws, fires, gets Alan de Graffenried short of first down yardage. Chris Hall, the cornerback, on the coverage.
And this is the kind of thing Scotland need to do in order to take advantage of Saran Stacey. You get the ball out to the wide receivers, and those cornerbacks have to start thinking about staying out. The safeties have to start thinking about helping the corners, and it leaves room for Stacey to get out of the backfield.
One of them came, didn't he?
So a third down play coming up. Dwayne Chandler, the tight end, moves to the right side. 3rd and 3. The pitch back is to Stacey, who is met and stopped short of first down yardage. Nate Dingle came up from the outside linebacker position, and Scotland are denied. And that will bring out the punting unit once again. Sean Conley. Bobby Olive trots out for the Frankfurt Galaxy. The return man, he stands at around the 35-yard line of the Galaxy. And Staunton's defense doing quite a number here after giving up that explosive first touchdown.
Good play by Dingle, who just held off the blocker until Stacey came in range and nailed him.
Conley gets it off. Fielded at the 40-yard line by Bobby Olive, who doesn't get a lot. Gets back to maybe the 44. Brian Jones, number 53, came up and just delivered a huge hit. Well, Scotland took an early lead here, but taking leads is not the Scottish Claymores' problems. They've taken a lot of leads through this season. They led against the Rhine Fire, they lost. They led against Barcelona, they lost. In week 5, they led London and lost. The following week, Rhine Fire again, they blew that one. Then Amsterdam, the week after that. And in week 8, Barcelona again. Is it going to be 5 in a row that the Claymores take a lead and lose?
And you know, Nick, 5 of those 6 losses, a total of 13 points is the difference.
I think Ernie came off on my back or his back.
Just think a break here, a play there. This team could be in the World Bowl. Over the halfway line goes. Crazy legs. Nate Bolton, Mark Sander in on the stop.
Okay, so they ended up with the backer there, and what, a backer here?
He was over the nose, behind the nose.
Okay, well, you know what that means then? That means toss 94-95. See?
2nd down and 4. They give it to Crazy Legs again, who does get round the corner and picks up a first down. Rodney Thomas, number 30, eventually there on the stop, but a great little run there of 8 yards from Nate Bolton and another Frankfurt first down.
Scotland's pulling those offside linemen to lead Bolton through. It's worked on the left side, now it works on the right. Look at it, nice wrestling job by Mark Dixon, and then Bolton, everybody's held up. Hippler gets a good block and he's through. Nice running by Nate Bolton. You heard Jim Kreiner on the other side, and basically what they're saying is when the Frankfurt linebackers are in the middle, they've got to pitch the ball outside to Saran Stacy.
31 yards on 8 carries for Bolton. And here's carry number 9, and again gets some good blocking and picks up around 6 yards. This against the World League's number 1 rated rush defense. Brian Jones on the stop.
And it's funny because they came out with a game plan last week that worked against the really good pass defense of the Admirals using the H-back Bellamy. Well, this week they come out and they're basically using 2 tight ends plus the H-back. They've got Brasher's been playing solely in a slot position right behind Hippler, the other tight end, and they're running the ball.
So what you're saying is this is a well-coached team.
You bet.
Bolton gets it again, cuts back inside, Mark Sander in pursuit, but Bolton's got another first down. Alan Young eventually there as well.
And you got a really good illustration of the pulling on that one. Dixon and McCullough on the right side of the line. The guard and tackle. Now McCullough's 6'9" and 315. Now watch him move, and Bolton's just following him behind. You can't even see Bolton behind McCullough. But McCullough gets the good block on Andrews, the linebacker, and he's through.
Well, Frankfurt, the big passing team, doing it downstairs against the number 1 run defense in the league. Bretz with time fires straight over the middle and broken up and out of the hands of Bobby Olive. James Williams, the cornerback, stayed with him. A flag down around the original line of scrimmage.
Now we've got a tale of 2 Brads here, Nick, because Brad Bretz looks exactly like Brad Lobo yesterday. He comes in and looks calm. He's making good decisions. He's not forcing anything. It's a very impressive performance by a guy who is 3rd choice quarterback.
And who's hardly played at all. Let's hear the call. Goes against the Galaxy.
10 yards, still first down.
Mark Dixon assessed, and that's going to push it back a little bit.
And Ernie Staudner not happy about that.
So that's going to make it first down and 20 for Ernie Staudner's team.
And Justin Stark, the reserve lineman, he stays in the game despite the penalty. He's in giving Dixon a breather.
Now another pressure situation here for Bretz, who's got a pass and everybody knows it. Gets good protection and he's got a man, and a pickup of around 14 yards to Bobby Olive. Darrell Lewis, the free safety, in on the stop with James Williams.
And you could see the calm in Brad Bretz there because he looked to the right, he checked 2 receivers and then turned to the left for his 3rd guy and knew where he was going to be. Now he's watching 1-2. They don't have him, switches right around. Bobby Olive's on the out. Nice job of quarterbacking by Brad Bretz.
Bretz, incidentally, 4 of 4 for 68 yards. His selection so far, perfect. They show blitz, the protection is there, and he's 5 for 5, and it's another first down. They work on Rodney Thomas again. Mario Bailey coming up with it, and Bailey is getting so much room ahead of Thomas.
Thomas laying off just a bit, which has to be that game rustiness he's got. But Bretz, again, doing a good job of spotting and delivering. It's an impressive start by Brad Bretz.
You can't do better than 5 of 5 with a touchdown. And he's moving those chains all the way to the Claymores 16. Hippler and Brasher switch sides again. And that's the way Nate Bolton is going, but he doesn't get much at all. Gerald Jeffcoat, number 99, came in and made the stop for a loss of a couple of yards. James Spencer, the former Barcelona Dragon, in there as well.
And watch James Spencer, who they picked up off the reserve squad. He just uses his strength to push his way in, and Hippler doesn't get any drive on the other side of the line. But again, it was Justin Stark having a tough time with big James Spencer, who himself was an offensive lineman in college. He didn't play in the D-line until he got to the pros.
Second down. And he's going for it and throws it away, and that will do it as far as the first quarter is concerned. So it was the Scottish Claymores who got the fast start, but it's Frankfurt Galaxy that are turning the screws at the end of the first quarter. It's 7 apiece.
Roger was the head writer.
Hot script coming through.
Now,
It was murder, and I brought you here to find the killer.
he's the chief suspect.
Come on, kid, spill the beans. I didn't do anything.
Penny was about to be his ex-wife.
I'm trying to stay on top of things around here.
Well, I always liked you on top.
Now, she's his only hope.
Roger may be a lot of things, but he's not a murderer.
She's right. I'm not even a lot of things.
Mary Stuart Masterson, Brian Benben, Radioland Murders.
This month on Direct Ticket.
The quick start from Scotland, but Frankfurt held the ball for more than 10 minutes in that opening session. And their backup quarterback, Brad Bretz, who's in for the injured Paul Justin, has made a very confident and assured start for the Galaxy. This a game Frankfurt have to win to keep those World Bowl hopes alive. But another big third down coming up for the Galaxy to start this second quarter. Mario Bailey is wide right, Olive wide left, Bellamy in the slot. Bretz gets the pressure, gets rid of it. He's got Nate Bolton, who will get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Brian Jones, the middle linebacker there.
And there's going to be a flag for roughing Brad Bretz, sorry, not Paul Justin. There's going to be a roughing the passer penalty.
And this is really going to hurt the Claymores.
Now you're going to see it. He takes the deep drop because they're setting up the screen to Bolton. So he's going to drop back. And now there you see Bolton moving forward. And Sander gives him one right in the face mask and sends him flying. And it's going to be
right in front of the referee as well.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 54. Hit to the head. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
How often have we seen penalties really hurt the Claymores? They had them stopped there, and it would have been a difficult field goal for Darren Alcorn. Instead, it's a first down and goal for the Frankfurt Galaxy.
And the thing is, once the ball was let go, there isn't any reason to take the swipe at his head. It's not much contact, it's pretty much incidental.
But it's enough.
Where was the line of scrimmage before?
Mark Sanders still objecting to the call, but the ball has been spotted at the 9-yard line, and there's nothing the former Miami Dolphin can do about that. One of two ex-Dolphins on this defensive unit for the Claymores. Rodney Thomas, the cornerback, the other one. So Frankfurt, who started slowly, getting some rhythm now. They give it to Crazy Legs, who likes to run outside. Doesn't pick up a lot. A gain of maybe 3 or 4 with Brian Jones in attendance.
And a nice job by Brian Jones of holding off big Ross McCullough. Jones, the middle linebacker, number 53. Watch him, he's moving to the left there on your screen. There's McCullough, the big guy. He turns into Jones. Jones just plays off his body. McCullough's still holding him, but Jones is there. Gets help from the defensive back, Lewis, who makes the tackle. That's how you do it. You string out the blockers, and someone else is going to come up and help you make the tackle.
And they stop Bolton after just 1 yard. Second and goal, and they're coming now on the draw play. Not much at all for Bolton. Alan Young in there. So too was Troy Ridgely. They read the blitz, but Bolton couldn't get anything.
And a good play by Ridgely. If they don't make that tackle, Bolton's through because the linebackers were coming.
And that brings up third and goal on the 8-yard line. Two running plays have netted 1 yard inside the 10. So he goes up into the air. Bretz fires, gets a man who's immediately hit. Coming up was number 34, George Coghill, the safety man.
And George Coghill is the #1 favorite of the fans here in Scotland. There was a roar from the crowd when he made that hit, and that's why they like him, because he is a hitter.
He just leveled Nate Bolton for a loss of 3. That makes it a 28-yard field goal for Darren Alcorn, who's basically all right with anything under 40. Beyond that, he struggles. No problem for Alcorn with a 28-yarder. There is a flag down. And that too goes against the Claymores.
A roughing the kicker call.
Claymores can't buy a break at the moment.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Half the distance to the goal. It'll be a first down.
James Williams, the culprit. And it's a first down again.
Another bad break. Now let's take a look at it. There's the kick, which is right through. And James Williams, very inadvertent, just trying to go through. And Alcorn's in his follow through. But inadvertent or advertent, it doesn't matter. Is there a word, advertent?
Well, I don't know. Don't ask me that. I'm just thinking you can't argue with the Mark Sander penalty, but that one looks a little bit rough. Bolton's got the ball, gets back to the 5-yard line. Darrell Lewis is there. A flag comes in late, and these officials are flag happy.
And Lewis came up quickly, along with James Williams, to close that corner off.
I tell you, our referee Tom White is busy calling penalties against the Scottish Claymores. Face mask this time.
You saw the indication.
That's 3 penalties in a row against Jim Criner's men.
5-yard face mask, number 42 defense.
That is against Darrell Lewis, who made the stop.
It'll still be first down.
The 3 safety, so they move it a little bit closer.
Now you see Bolton's going to go to the outside. 1 step toward the middle. He's looking for a hole. He's free to run, and here he comes, puts his head down. And you can't see a face mask from there, but Lewis may have had him from around the side. It's a tough call, though, if the tackle's from behind.
The ball on the 4. Crazy legs, goes through the middle, picks up a couple, and is stopped. Darrell Lewis was in there with some help.
And 2 roughings and a face mask, and they don't really seem to have had a really good one out of that, where you do some damage on the people. They all seem to be inadvertent ones.
Hey,
the
Joe,
problem is inadvertent is a penalty as well.
We're not rooting them out. We're not getting underneath them and taking them out.
Well, Ernie Staunton, who's seen this drive kept alive by Claymore's penalties. They switched sides again, the Galaxy. Strong side left. Bolton gets it left and goes in for the touchdown. They got there eventually.
And you heard Ernie Staunton.
In fact, they're ruling him down short. Still the Claymores have held. Brian Jones saved a touchdown there. Certainly everybody on the Galaxy sideline. Touchdown. It was close.
You heard Ernie Staunton talking about the line getting down and driving them out, and you see how they stand up. Scotland stands up the Frankfurt line, and you see now there's lots of room for the backs to come up. Bolton goes down right there. His knee's down. It's a good call. But where that play was made was in the line.
Definitely a good call from the officials. But it brings up 3rd down. Bolton this time goes in, and it's a touchdown, Frankfurt. It had to happen.
There wasn't much question about it that time. Nate Bolton just headed to the line and went where there was an opening, which was outside. That puts Frankfurt up a good long drive, but helped out by those 3 crucial penalties, 2 roughings and a face mask.
You want to say it was a good drive, but the truth is it wasn't. The Claymores shot themselves there.
So
15 plays, 48 yards.
Scotland had gotten them out with only 3 points, but now it's going to be 7.
No problem with the extra point for Darren Alcorn. 10:56 remaining first half. The Claymores, who started fast, now trail thanks to Nate Bolton's 1-yard touchdown run.
That a player gets himself in shape, ready to play, weight training and all of the other things that improve a player to get him ready to play the game are certainly at the highest level that they've ever been. But when you go back to basics, and that's the old way of saying it, you have to go back to basics, and that's blocking and that's tackling.
NFL Sunday Ticket. Up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
There's a place near you where the mountain climbers never touch the ground, where the bodies are made of iron and the bikes of titanium alloy. It's Performance Bicycle Shop with over 6,000 square feet of high-tech cycling gear. But if you go, bring a stump-jumping spirit and your Visa card. Because at Performance, they take cycling to the extreme, but they don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Michael Jordan. To find what you desire requires a great effort. You look thirsty. Gatorade?
Thanks. I've come.
I know why you have come. You wish to know the meaning of life.
And?
Life is a sport. Drink it up.
That's what I figured.
This month, it's a double dose of action on Direct Ticket. His brother thought he knew the score, but he struck out. Now he better learn to look out for himself. Because high school can be a dangerous place. And also playing this month, a gold pendant holds the key to an ancient treasure. If you find it, I can feel the energy. You can keep it, if you can stay alive. Operation Golden Phoenix. It's double the action, double the thrills with 2 power-packed films playing this month on Direct Ticket.
The Galaxy taking 8 minutes off the clock on the way to that touchdown. Nate Bolton with a 1-yard run. Not bad for a fella coming back off injured. Spoke to Nate Bolton a couple of weeks ago in the Frankfurt Galaxy team hotel. He's perfecting his English. He sounded a bit like Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins, but he's working on it, saying, hello, old chap.
When it rains, it pours, and Nate Bolton pouring the Gatorade onto the field here.
Alcorn gets it off to Graffenried at the 10. Got some room here. Gets to around the 39, falls forward to the 40. Another solid return. Greg Briggs, the safety, coming in and making the stop. But de Graffenried doing everything he can to give the Claymores good field position. Well, the Claymores gave up 3 penalties on that drive.
And if you're talking about itty-bitty penalties, watch Bobby Olive on the left of your screen there, blocking James Williams. Watch his hands. He's holding him there. He's going to turn him around, and there's no chance. And now Bobby Olive gets, oh no, I didn't touch him, like a bullfighter. And if you wanted to call those itty-bitty penalties for minimal contact, that would have been a holding call.
But when your luck's out, your luck's out. And it's been out all season for the Claymores. First down from the 40. Marcus Thomas goes in motion. They give to Stacey, who's got space here. A blocker ahead of him. First down yardage. Not much more, but he did his job. Johnny Dixon in on the stop.
And don't you love it when Saran Stacey does that little run in place to get his momentum up again when he stops? Okay, London's going to hand off. Thomas is going to go one way, then Stacey cuts back behind him the other way. Lots of room there. Now there it is, right there. Let's get going again. Stacey gets his legs in motion and picks up the extra couple of yards for the first down.
Over midfield for Saran Stacey. Having another solid game for the Claymores. Marcus Thomas in the backfield in motion. They fake, Blundin fires, and incomplete. Alan de Graffenried was coming back, but was miles away from that. In fact, it was Darryl Mitchell they were looking for.
I don't know, Matt Blundin looked like that one just got away from him. He got rid of it under pressure. And it was there. He's not hitting his head because he thinks he was stupid. He's trying to get the reception good on his in-helmet receiver that he's taking the plays from Doug Williams, the offensive coordinator.
Brings up a second down for the Claymores, who've been quiet since that dramatic opening touchdown. On the ground, and a pickup of maybe just one for Saran Stacey. Mike Kerr in on the stop with Don Reynolds.
Stacey trying to move behind Big Tom Scott, the 6'6", 380-pound guard out of East Carolina, who joined the team three weeks ago and basically solidified that starting line. Andre Hewitt, a mere 296. With the other tackle.
You get the feeling Jim Kreiner likes offensive linemen. He's got 10 in total on the Claymores roster at the moment. Can't play them all. I think he'd like to.
That's what happens when you're an offensive line coach.
Timeout called by the Claymores. 9 minutes remaining first half. Galaxy leading 14-7. Well, the Amsterdam Admirals are in the World Bowl on the 17th of June. They'll face the second half champions, who will be either Barcelona or Frankfurt. And if you want to get tickets for that one, there's the number to call.
And having just come back from a day in Amsterdam, watching the Admirals play the Monarchs, it's a great place to go and see a football game.
Reaction. Red right. Yeah, they're in the six-pack, matter of fact. They're in the six-pack. We got a one-on-one backside with the
Good shot. Good shot of Jim Ballard, the former London quarterback, talking with Doug Williams. They told Matt London Frankfurt's in a six-pack, 6 defensive backs in.
Third down, Blunden drops, has time and picked off almost by Chris Hall, who has 7 interceptions on the year. There is a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Hall almost came up with number 8.
And again, we've seen Matt London do this a lot this season, is throwing and not seeing the defender there. Hall stepped forward. Obviously the holding call in the line. Hall stepped forward, and I think he looked back to see if he was going to be tackled. Ernie Staudner says decline the penalty, and the ball's in the air. Hall's just coming in front of Harris.
Had it.
Yep, should have had it. He looks back to see where Harris is and drops the ball.
Well, Chris Hall and Jack Kellogg both lead the league in interceptions with 7. Johnny Dixon just behind them. Hall also leads his team with 15 passes broken up. That'll go into the books as number 16, but it could have been interception number 8. And it brings up a punting situation for the Claymores. Bobby Olive back deep for Frankfurt. Time for Conley, who gets off a low end-over-end kick and bounces down to around the 11-yard line, where it's down by the Scottish Claymores. James Williams coming up with the ball, so they get pretty decent field position, but no points.
Yesterday we were saying Ron Carpenter and Kelly Sims at Amsterdam were probably the best pair of corners in the league, but I think Kellogg and Hall would give them a lot of argument.
Oh, I think I'd have to put Kellogg and Hall ahead of those two fellas. I'm no Ron Carpenter fan after last night's game.
You were going into last night's game, I can tell you that.
We saw a different side to Ron Carpenter. He may be a great player.
Yeah, the 11-yard line.
But Ron Carpenter, in case you didn't see the game, started trashing the London Monarchs players after coming up with an interception in the end zone and nearly sparked a riot. And it was all unnecessary. Brett hands it off. Nate Bolton spins around. In fact, it's not Nate Bolton, it's Craig Thomas, number 33, who hits Gerald Jeffcoat and Alan Young and comes second in that collision.
And what Ernie Staudner was saying before about Frankfurt's linemen getting low is really important, because Barcelona's defensive line is starting to dominate in the pit. Frankfurt was gaining their yardage when they were pulling linemen, trying to go straight ahead. They're not getting any movement out of that Scotland defensive line. I'm calling them Barcelona again. Haven't done that since week 1.
They fake the handoff. Brett gets time complete. Not much doing there. The tackle made by George Coghill, and a pickup of 3 or 4 at most.
That's just a little quick pattern for Mario Bailey. Get a couple of yards, and every now and then he's going to break it with his running.
Well, Brad Brett's having a very solid afternoon at Murrayfield, completing 7 of 8. Nothing spectacular, but getting the job done. And that's what the Galaxy need, with Paul Justin not expected to return. He has a sprained ankle. Third down, he fires again, close to first down yardage, depending on where they spot it. Rodney Thomas came in on Mario Bailey very fast, and that'll depend on the spot and where they put it down. It's short of first down yardage.
And you see the disappointment in Mario Bailey's face. He just couldn't get forward over the line.
And Rodney Thomas came up quick there, the first time he's really adjusted to the pace of the game.
That's the key to that as well. There's Rodney Thomas. He'll feel better about that play.
Takes time to settle in. As you said, Mike, practice is one thing. This is for real. Marcus Thomas has to come up and calls for the fair catch at the 42-yard line. Another soft kick from Darren Alcorn, and the Claymores, with 7:03 remaining in the first half, trail by 14-7, but they have pretty decent field position.
You can delegate it to your assistants and hope that they do it, but I've always paid a lot of attention to detail. I just feel that you can't let anything go unnoticed. You have to practice in order to expect your players to perform. So I try to put them in as many situations, game situations, as I can during the week in practice.
NFL Sunday Ticket. Up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
And to this reporter, it's obvious that these strike negotiations are going nowhere fast.
Well, I've had just about enough. Let's go.
Excuse me.
Love the shoes.
What were we thinking? After you. No, after you.
Life is good.
When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good.
Our work here is done.
Play ball. Take a deep breath. Count to 10. And get ready.
What is going on here?
To take the fall. Charlie Sheen.
Are you out of your mind? Yes! Yes, I am!
Nastasha Kinski.
How do you stop this thing?
Terminal Velocity.
Playing this month on Direct Ticket.
So first down, Blundin still in the game, gets some pressure, tripped up and down, and a loss of 7 or 8 yards on the play. Frank Messmer, one of the German nationals, will get a sack for that.
And Frank Messmer, a good job. You know, these guys come on so quickly, learning line play. Watch Messmer, 99 in the middle of your screen. Watch how he gets through. He goes low, and then he grabs the foot. Good reaction from the national player out of the Konstanz 89ers in Germany, Frank Messmer, who was the junior national shot put champion in Germany when he was only 17 years old.
Second down and long. Blundin fires to Stacey, who's got a lot of work to do and can't get anything. He's met by a gang of Galaxy tacklers, Mike Kerr and John Baker, the first fellas there, and probably will have lost a couple more.
And they were trying to set up a screen, but Blundin zipped the ball down there. They got the timing off on the screen, and John Baker just ran down in behind the wall of blockers that was trying to form for Saran Stacey. Blundin has to let the pass rush come to him on that play.
A loss of 2 more yards on the play brings up third down and 20. And it's the same old story on offense for the Claymores. Blundin is hit in the act of throwing, so it'll be ruled an incomplete. Mike Kerr, number 66, came up and hit Blundin's arm. 3 and out once again for the Claymores.
And it definitely was an incompletion, but those are the kind of balls you want to go for because it might be looked at as a fumble. There you see Kerr just coming off his man as Blundin stepped forward in the pocket. Ernie Rogers had him, but they were closing in on Blundin. He moved right into it. And Blundin not happy.
Sean Conley will punt to Bobby Olive. Terrible kick from Conley. Will bounce it around the 45-yard line and fielded and into Claymore's territory by Bobby Olive, who took a chance there and got away with it. James Spencer was there.
And you saw that kick was bad, right? You got the contact with the foot off the side of the foot. And just to talk about that pass blocking, it's one thing to keep them off the quarterback, but you also have to keep them wide. He has to have enough room to throw. If everyone's just stepping back at Blundin, he's got no choice except either to run wide or to step forward. That time he stepped forward and he went right into more pressure.
So the Galaxy, with 6 minutes left first half and a 7-point lead, they fake to Ingo Seibert. That buys Brett's time, who's got Bobby Olive over the middle. And Olive beat the coverage of James Williams and picks up around 22 yards and another Galaxy first down.
And you call... You called it right there. James Williams is down on the field, but you called it, Nick. The time was what made that. If you give Bretz all that time, Bobby Olive is going to get open. He comes from the left. He's got lots of space on Williams there, and it's just a matter of Bretz finding him and gets him the ball. He moves away from the hit.
Banged his head on the way down.
Looks like Williams may have taken Bobby Olive's head on his upper thigh.
And Williams is still down.
See if we can take another look at that. There's the pass over the middle. Ball's a little high, but Olive makes the good grab. Williams chases him down. It may have been when he hit there. You saw his legs were both bent as he hit, coming up on the ground. And they're looking at his knee, so that's probably what it was.
Well, more bad news for the Scottish Claymores. James Williams, who's done such a good job in coverage. They've already lost their number one cornerback, Jocelyn Borgella. He had a knee injury and has gone home. Darren Butler is available to them on the bench if they need him. Jim Kreiner still working with his gang of offensive linemen. That's quite a huddle right there.
The guard's gone on 56. 57, the guard's gone. See? So you have to take him by yourself no matter what. On 50.
So Williams is up. Strange to think, Mike, that a week before the season kicked off, he was the line coach for the Scottish Claymores.
And you seem to get the feeling that he likes being the line coach.
So Williams limps off.
And Corus Irvin, the former Monarch, walks on the field to take his place.
Well, he's been banged up as well. They nearly had to send him home. There he is, the first player ever drafted by the London Monarchs and the owner of a World Bowl ring. And Williams getting off the field very slowly.
It's been a long, tough season for these World League players. The small rosters, they see a lot of double duty on special teams. And let's take a look and see now. Corus Irvin, he's been worked on before when he's played on the corners.
First down, Bretz drops back to pass, a little swing pass to Bolton, who does well to pick it up. Skips past Darrell Lewis and will be close to a first down. Corus Irvin eventually there to make the stop, but Nate Bolton with a safe pair of hands.
They went to that side because what they're looking to see is if someone comes over to help out Irvin. If the free safety, Lewis, had come over to help Irvin on the coverage, Bolton would have been open coming out of the backfield.
Nate Bolton checks out of the lineup. Ingo Seibert, number 24, is the lone setback, a German who scored against Scotland the first time these two teams met. And they give to Seibert, who runs into trouble. A couple of flags come down, and Seibert is nailed at the line of scrimmage. Alan Young and Gerald Jeffcoat combining, and 2 flags on the field. Offside against the Claymores, who are giving up penalties in dangerous positions once again, just like they did in the last series. March 5 yards off, so first down and 5. James Williams continues to get treatment for that injured right knee on the sidelines.
And it's a good indication of just how far American football has come in Germany, that they can get such contributions out of their national players.
We'll come back to that after this play. Bretz drops, fires, caught. Bobby Olive's got it, spins one way, spins the other. The ball comes loose, and it's gone out of bounds at about, in fact, they're ruling it a fumble. George Coghill and Corus Irvin combined, and they're calling it a fumble and giving it Scotland's way.
And they went right after Corus Irvin. Bobby Olive dancing around. Let's take a look. Here comes Olive on Corus Irvin. He just turns inside. You see, Irvin doesn't react to the first turn. He's still laying off him. And now it's a one-on-one. And Bobby Olive's going to have a little fun here. And he goes for the corner. And he tries to go over the top and put the ball down. And you fumble the ball through the end zone. It goes over. That's the right call.
Well, Bobby Olive coming up with one of the most curious plays we've seen in the World League this year, and still confusion on both sides.
Looked like the spike before the touchdown.
Here's the official call. Tom White will explain all.
We had no touchback. Illegal. Forward pass thrown from behind the line of scrimmage. On the offense, it's a 5-yard penalty. The result of the play will be first down, 1 and goal.
So it's an incomplete forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage after all that.
An illegal forward pass is what they're calling it. I don't think that was his intention at all. I don't know how you can call it a forward pass when there's no one for him to pass it to. He's just trying to put it down. That's a fumble.
And the official, the line judge, Ron Winter, was right there, and he called a fumble. Exactly, as Jim Kreiner says.
But he threw it. The ball spun out of his hand when he turned. No, he threw it. I hear what you're saying. The ruling we come up with it, we discussed the play, was that he threw the ball forward.
Well, there's some wisdom after the event there for the officials, because line judge Ron Winter definitely ruled it a fumble.
I can't see how you can call it an incomplete pass when there's no one to pass to. He's not trying to get rid of the ball. He's trying to get it over the line, over the end zone line.
See if the official's in the play here as well, because he immediately ruled, as number 82, Ron Winter, he's the man that rules it a fumble and gives it to the Claymores.
And you see what Olive's trying to do is he's trying to spike the ball down. He just loses it because he can't get his body down. That's a fumble. There's no question.
Nothing working for the Scottish Claymores. It's first down. Brett fires, got a man. Mike Bellamy wide open, touchdown Frankfurt, and this crowd don't like that.
And the crowd's booing.
And they have a point.
The Galaxy are happy. Jim Kreiner is incensed, and he's got a good point. Absolutely. They should have had the ball. Their offense was on the field. The line judge had made the right call.
Darren Alcorn will attempt to convert the extra point. 24 in a row if he gets it safe, no problem. 24 in a row for Alcorn, 21 unanswered points for the Frankfurt Galaxy, but this one leaves a sour taste in the Scottish Claymores' mouths.
Mike Bellamy, the H-back, had 3 touchdown catches against Amsterdam. You see the play action fake to Seibert. No one even touches him, and Bellamy's all alone outside, coming inside out. Thomas taking the man, going inside, can't get back out. Here's another look now. There's the play action fake, and there you see Bellamy on the right of your screen. Thomas goes with the outside receiver. Nobody goes with the inside receiver. So both, just a cross up between the safety and the cornerback. They both went with the outside man. Nobody went with Bellamy, and easy.
Well, no arguments with that one, but the officials not popular. Jim Knight, the back judge there.
Well, we think Jim Knight made the right call. No argument with Jim Knight there.
It's the play before that. Bellamy, his 6th touchdown
and Tommy
of
White,
the season.
Tommy White, you heard him explain to Kreiner, he threw the ball, and it's really hard to say how you can call that a throw.
What has gone right for Jim Kreiner this season?
I mean, they could have called it intentional grounding if that was the case.
We got to keep the ball and move it down the field.
Bobby Olive, the man who was the man at the middle of that controversial play. And forget about it now, it's in the book as a touchdown for Frankfurt. De Graffenried fields at his own 3. The wedge is set up. De Graffenried finds the wedge and goes out of bounds at around the 36. Jack Kellogg there. De Graffenried consistently giving the Claymores good field position.
And what the Claymores need to do now is simply come out and take advantage of that good field position. Matt Blunden really just needs to settle down. They got that first pass in, but they have not achieved any consistency on the drive.
Well, you take that first play away, and the Claymores have done virtually nothing, just 19 yards. It all started so well, but it's following a familiar pattern up the middle goes Saran Stacey for 3 or 4 before he's stopped. David Wilkins in on the stop along with Sean Smith from linebacker.
Wait a minute.
And
That's Big Daddy.
If you're Jim
an
Kreiner,
offensive lineman's down. That's what's worrying Kreiner. Sorry to interrupt you, Mike. It's Tom Scott.
well, he's got 10 of them on the roster, so he can get another one in. But if you're Jim Kreiner, what you really would like to see now, 4 minutes to play in the second quarter, is your team establish a drive. Take it downfield, then you go in at halftime only 1 score down, and you've proven to yourself that you can move the ball consistently.
Well, Big Tom, it's quite a load. Officially listed at 380 pounds.
Rumored to be in the 400-plus area.
Big Tom came over to join the Claymores when his mother told him to get over here and play. And he said, "You don't argue with my mother."
I wouldn't.
So Tom Scott is a Claymore, but at the moment he's a shaken-up Claymore.
It looks like he's in pain.
Well, James Williams came out on the last series. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Tom Scott. He's well shaken up.
But Tom Scott's in the middle of the screen. You can see him there by the pulling guard. He's coming downfield. Here's the contact. He gets bent back as he gets hit from behind.
Right against the left knee.
That's it.
They haven't moved Scott.
So Mike Stonebreaker came in from behind, chasing the play. Looked like his knee just buckled as he got hit in the small of the back.
It gets worse and worse for the Claymores.
The pile came down on him.
Nick Halling's play of the day.
Well, Tom Scott at least upright, but clearly in considerable distress. And the stretcher is coming on.
I hope they've got about 9 guys to carry. You know, when you're that big, and Tom Scott's a quick guy, he's got good strong legs for it, but when you're that big, it takes leg injuries a long time to heal. It's a lot of pressure on that lower body.
So the big guy gets slowly back to the sidelines. And when play resumes, it'll be a 2nd down and 7. And they're going to miss Scott, who's only joined the team late, but really has claimed one of those guard positions for his own, Mike. They're going to be hurt by this.
It really did seem to settle that offensive line down, and looks like Dennis Dalkey's moved in to replace him. Ishmael's moved over to the other side.
2nd and 7. Blundin fires, bounces, a one-hopper. He was looking for Darryl Mitchell.
And Darryl Mitchell, we were talking to the coaches earlier, he's done a really good job of getting his hands better and better, but the book on him was that he didn't have soft hands. He had a lot of trouble catching the ball, and you could see it right there. There's Dennis Dalkey, 69, who's come in the game replacing Tom Scott.
Well, Blundin's numbers in sharp contrast to Brad Brett's. Takes a deep drop, gets some pressure from behind, gets a short pass off to Darryl Mitchell, who does a great second effort with Cecil Doggett on his back and will be close to 1st down yardage.
And no problem with Mitchell's hands that time, nor with the stretch for the 1st down.
That does indeed move the chains. Tom Scott, well, tough to see him taking any further action in this game. The big fella going into the locker rooms. 3.5 minutes remaining, 1st half. Back onto the ground, Saran Stacey, great penetration Nate Dingle came up and nailed Stacy in the backfield.
Nice read by Nate Dingle, went right through Dalkey's block and made the tackle.
Nate Dingle, the special teams captain. 44 tackles on the year going into this game, 3 sacks. A fella that does a little bit of everything.
From the lovely town of Wells, Maine.
Second down, Blundin drops, pressure, steps up into the pocket, fires, and it's low. Are they going to rule it a catch? They were working on Jack Kellogg. It was Lee Harris looking to make the catch, not quite coming up with it.
London doing a nice job this time of reacting to the pressure positively. If you decide you're going to go forward, you've got to really go forward, and he does. And he gets some space. Now he sees Harris, and he unloads the ball just behind the line of scrimmage. He actually looked like he had a little bit of running room if he wanted to take it.
So Lee Harris goes wide left. De Graffenried is wide right. Mitchell in the slot. A lot of time for Blundin, who puts it upstairs again. He's got a man open and he's overthrown Lee Harris, who was wide open.
And they had that one all the way. Echo of that first play of the game. They gave Blundin the time to throw. He saw Harris was coming open and he put the ball up there, but he led him too far. Put the ball a little bit inside instead of getting it in front.
And it's not been a good first half for Matt Blundin. Despite that big touchdown to open up with, 65 yards and virtually nothing since. Bobby Olive stands at his own 18. He may not even get there. Conley in all sorts of trouble, can do no more than hang on to it. And with 2.5 minutes left, the Galaxy will get outstanding field position.
Get band ready. Get band ready.
Cecil Doggett, number 22, the special teams stud, really came in and broke that up.
And Jim Kreiner just turned around and said, story of my life there. It's not a bad snap. It's right there. He just can't handle it. And now he can barely pick it up. He loses it a second time. He loses it a third time, manages to pull it in. They've been killed on penalties on the last 2 Frankfurt drives. That puts them down 2 touchdowns. Now the big turnover, and they're in danger of falling another one behind.
Lots of time for Bretz, who goes, and it was almost picked off by Brian Jones, and perhaps should have been. Bretz, that's only his second incompletion of the game, and that was nearly a big one.
And pass coverage is the part of Brian Jones's game that he really wants to work on in the league. Now watch it, he starts his drop back there, and he's watching Bretz the whole way. Takes his eye off him just a second to check the receiver, and that's when he lost the ball. If he kept his eyes on the quarterback, he would have had it, but he wanted to check and see which side the receiver was coming from.
Brian Jones still looking for his first interception of the season.
He may not have it.
Ernie just coughed.
Here. Hey, are they allowed to tackle our defensive ends? Are they allowed to tackle our defensive ends?
Cannot be out here.
All right. Are they allowed to tackle us?
He could be out there.
They're phenomenal.
I didn't hear you say a thing to him.
So the Galaxy, with 2:25 left first half, working well with Brad Bretz. Bretz with a lot of time gets Bobby Olive again. It's another first down. And the Galaxy looking to put this one away late in the first half. It's been all Frankfurt. Darrell Lewis on the stop. But Frankfurt have dominated this first half.
And during the timeout, Jim Kreiner was out talking to the referees and asking if the tackles were allowed to tackle their defensive ends, but that's pretty good blocking right there. And that's a pretty good catch by Bobby Olive at the other end. You can't give them too many chances. Brett's nearly threw his first interception, comes right back and hits the big one to Bobby Olive.
Well, I tell you, as well as Brad Bretz has played, the first thing he will do is offer a big vote of thanks to his offensive line. That is the 2-minute warning. Frankfurt leading 21-7 and looking for more.
No question about it. There are times where you want to stand back and applaud when you see the great plays made by great players. And, you know, on your football team, you're going to applaud a little bit harder, but you still acknowledge and you recognize great plays made by players on the opponent's football team.
NFL Sunday Ticket. Up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
Morrison versus Ruddock. Saturday, June 10th. 10 p.m. Eastern on Channel 101, only $29.95 live on Direct Ticket.
21 unanswered points for Frankfurt after Scotland took an early lead on the very first play from scrimmage. And Ernie Stautner, who felt the pressure coming into this game, a game his team has to win to keep their World Bowl hopes alive. It's been pretty much one-way traffic for Ernie's team ever since. 3 touchdowns, and they're looking for another one before half-time here. The Claymores on the ropes. And they've dominated time of possession as well. First down, Brett with time. Flag comes in and almost picked off. The hit came in. Gerald Jeffcoat was there. Brett slow to get up to his feet, but there is a flag as well.
And Jim Kreiner's complaining to the referees about the holding on his defensive ends may have paid off in the first holding call against Frankfurt. See if that's what it is, and let's take a look at the blocking.
Holding, number 79.
There you see it. It's on the. It looks like the tight end.
Down.
They kept the tight end in to block. He's the one who picked up the call against Alan Young.
Of throwing the football. Okay.
So that brings up first and long for the Frankfurt Galaxy. Pushed back to the 22. There's confirmation of the time of possession. Frankfurt have had it twice as long as the Claymores. And that means that defense has been out there twice as long as their offense. They're getting tired now.
And basically what we should be in is a 10-7 or a 14-7 game here, not a 21-7 game.
Could be 28-7.
Yeah, absolutely.
The way the Galaxy have moved this ball around. Tom Scott, the initial report is a back injury and a hip injury, not expected to return this game, possibly not this season. Bretz on first and long, flushed out, steps up into the pocket, got some running room here. He's a big guy, gets a hit from Tim Brown, the outside linebacker, but picks up around 12 yards on the scramble. Another smart heads-up play from this kid.
And Brett's at 6'5" and about 220 pounds. Moves like a running back when he has to here. You see Seibert coming out of the backfield, but Brett's looking for an opening. Now he decides to take it, and there's a move, and now it's just get me to the sidelines quick before Brown can hit me, and Brown knocks him out of bounds, but a good pickup brings up about a 2nd and 9.
Very impressive numbers from Brad Bretz. Gets time, almost had his man. It was broken up. It bounced around in there. He was looking for his tight end, Bob Brasher. Darrell Lewis broke it up.
And Bretz took another hit on that one. Scotland getting that pass rush on track now. Let's take a look. Seibert's the guy in block, and he picks up the linebacker, or else Bretz would have really gotten it. Jones just comes in and knocks him over at the end. But a nice block by Ingo Seibert, and the pass deflected through. Could have been intercepted.
So 3rd down and long. 1:43 left, first half. Frankfurt leading 21-7. Pressure comes. Brett's in trouble. Gets up, steps up, got a man. Touchdown, Frankfurt. How cool was that?
And Brett's made that one himself. No one stayed in to block. Brett stepped forward against the rush. He looks like he's hurt as he gets up, but Brasher was there in the end zone. He didn't even have to put a lot on it. Bob Brasher made the catch. And here you'll see the pressure coming right up the middle. There's the linebacker coming. Sander, and he just lets Sander go and steps out of it. Floats the ball in for Brasher. You saw Darrell Lewis complaining that Brasher had pushed off of him, but it's a loose ball out there.
Well, there's an officials' conference going on. There is a flag down. It seemed to come in after the play, so I doubt if this one's coming off. Let's hear.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 42, Scotland. The penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff, 15 yards.
And
that's Darrell Lewis.
I guess Lewis complained a little too loud about Brasher pushing off, or a little too strong.
Well, that just sums up the Claymores half. Nothing has gone right for them after that explosive start. 27 unanswered points. Alcorn looking to make it 28. It hits the post and comes out. So Darren Alcorn's streak is ended at 24, and he did seem to snatch at that one.
Yeah, and we saw, this game has eerie echoes of last night because we saw one hit the post and come forward and out last night as well.
The difference being that one was close all the way. This one threatening to become a rout.
3 touchdown passes for Brad Bretz in the first half. Not a bad performance. There's Paul Justin, the man who was injured and he replaced.
So, can Frankfurt go to the World Bowl if they win here? And next week, they will be there. The Amsterdam Admirals are already there. They'll host the World Bowl on Saturday, the 17th of June. You'll see it on Sky Sports, of course. The second half champions will be Frankfurt or Barcelona. Those two meet next week in Barcelona in a game that could decide it all.
And the World Bowl matchup for quarterbacks could be Brad Lebo of Amsterdam and Brad Bretz of the Frankfurt Galaxy. And how strange would that be?
Indeed, there's confirmation of Frankfurt's destiny very much in their own hands. If they win 2, they go through. If they lose either of those games, they're out and Barcelona go through.
And it looks like a big one next week, Frankfurt at Barcelona.
Couldn't be bigger, and that's the way it should be. Well, what an interesting week for quarterbacks. Lebo at Amsterdam, Bretz at Frankfurt, both of them coming in and answering the call when we heard nothing from either of them all season.
Well, Brad Bretz wasn't even with the Galaxy until 2 weeks ago. And Brad Lebo stepping forward when both the allocated quarterbacks were hurt.
Good kick fielded in the end zone. We haven't seen too many kicks reach the end zone, but Alan de Graffenried took it on one knee, a yard inside his end zone. There is a flag down in midfield. On offside. Looks like that will be kicked again. Well, it all wraps up next week. This week 9, week 10 is the end of the regular season. The key game there, clearly, Barcelona v Frankfurt. The Rhein-Fire, they're out. They can't do anything. Amsterdam will be looking to take some momentum into the World Bowl. London, they're out as well. So too are the Scottish Claymores. National pride on the line there. All those games kicking off next Saturday.
There's Bob Brasher. BB scored the touchdown from Brad Bretz. BB. Other touchdowns by Mario Bailey. MB. Bellamy, another B.
Bobby Olive, there's another B in there
Bobby
as well.
Olive's another B. And Nate Bolton, another B, got the touchdown. So it's the bombs and the Bs.
Yes, Mike.
I thought you'd like that.
Yes, indeed.
It's tough there.
It's the way to be. And Jim Kreiner, who's a C, is out of that whole mix.
Back it up, man. Back it up.
Low kick. It takes a hop. De Graffenried can't handle it. Picks it up at the 8 and can't get anything just past the 20-yard line. More special teams problems. Cecil Doggett, number 22, hit De Graffenried seemingly on the knee, and another Claymore goes down, and this could be a very costly injury indeed.
Alan de Graffenried is probably the player the Claymores can least afford to lose. And it was a smart play by Frankfurt to use that kind of squib kick, trying to prevent a big return.
We've seen James Williams go out on one series. Then it was Big Tom Scott. Now it's de Graffenried grounded.
Here's de Graffenried. He had a lot of trouble coming up with the ball. He finally gets started, and he's got Thomas leading him, but he gets cut down from behind, right behind the knee. And it's probably it could be a muscle in there. Get the hamstring or the quadricep with the head hitting him right on the back of the thigh. Take a look, it comes in right behind, right there, even on the hip.
So the bad news for Alan de Graffenried is that he has to limp out, but at least he's off under his own steam. Scott Cooper, number 81, one of the Scottish national players, comes into the game, gets a great cheer from the Murrayfield faithful, has 5 catches on the year, leads national players in that category. Had 3 against Amsterdam. And Blundin is looking Cooper's way, checks off and goes over the middle and picks up maybe 2 or 3 yards to number 86, Daryl Mitchell, who was ridden down by Mike Stonebreaker, the middle linebacker.
And Scotland in the hurry up now, no huddle, just going with the 2 plays called.
2 yards on the completion. Another low pass from Blundin. A lot of his passes seem to die away. And Daryl Mitchell, or Lee Harris in fact, tried to come up with it, but he couldn't quite get there.
Which will bring up a 3rd and about 8. They want to get a first down. They want to get the ball downfield. You can only do a couple of quick outs on this when you need to stop the clock and get your first downs. Otherwise, you have to be looking longer.
65 of those yards on one play. Blundin in trouble. Cooper's open. Blundin throws low again. Cooper was wide open twice. Blundin simply never saw him, and Blundin is getting booed.
And Scott Cooper did a nice job of coming back when he saw Blundin was in trouble. Blundin just couldn't get him the ball. Now here comes Scott Cooper, and he's basically running an out pattern. Throws a head move. Now he sees he's in trouble, and he's going to come back for the ball. Now he's going to turn around. There he's open, and Blundin tries to get him the ball, but he skips it over. Incomplete. Scotland's got a punt, which they don't want to be doing down at this end.
Offside.
Ben Torriero gets off the punt after Sean Conley's problems. Another Scottish national player, and it's a decent enough kick down to the 41. Ben Torriero, number 44, getting a lot of work on special teams. Had 4 kickoffs returns going into this game, but that's an unexpected punt for Ben.
I think Jim Kreiner just fed up with the little mental mistakes, physical errors, and decided to just shake things up. Not a bad kick by Torriero.
Well, 3 nationals that really have caught the eye as far as the Claymores are concerned. Torriero and Cooper really the picks. Darren Chapman has come on in leaps and bounds as well. Torriero and Cooper are the 2 guys that contribute the most. Another completion wide open is the tight end, a pickup of around 13 yards. Ricky Andrews trips up Brasher, but Brad Bretts is making this look very easy indeed.
These off.
If I buckle back again like I was,
Just relaxing with taking the deep breath, which would lead you to think it's a muscle problem. They're just trying to stretch out and relax that muscle that took the hit on the back of the thigh.
We'll see at halftime.
Okay, consider it laid.
Speaking of which.
I'll bet. You want to put a bet on whether Jim Ballard comes out to start the second half? He better.
I tell you, we're going to see some nationals in the second half because this one will be over.
And
27 seconds left first half. The Galaxy in Claymore territory already. And Bretts, who's been near faultless, gets pressure from Alan Young, evades the pressure and just throws it away. Another smart bit of play calling, doesn't try to force it. And that's a very mature head on Young's shoulders here.
And that's what you've got to like from Bretts, because he steps away from the pressure, he doesn't panic, and he gets rid of the ball. The most important thing for a quarterback to do. Don't force anything, especially when you're ahead by a big lead and you've only got 20 seconds left in the half.
Stops the clock as well, and Bretts' numbers pretty near faultless.
Take those for a whole game, most quarterbacks.
Any NFL quarterback would be happy with those figures. And that's against a good Scottish defense. He's picked them apart.
Two camps with the Dallas Cowboys, survived until the last cuts.
Bretts drops, gets a lot of time again, goes over the middle. Bobby Olive's got it inside the 25, down to the 20. David Wilson, the safety, came up and made the stop. 7 seconds left. They haven't stopped the clock. They need to call a timeout.
They're not going to get the
and
kick
it's gone
off.
down. They can't call a timeout because they don't have any. So the Claymores at last get a break. The Galaxy couldn't get off the field goal attempt, but nevertheless, food for thought at half-time for the Scottish Claymores.
What they needed to do was just get down there, take a snap, and ground it so they could get the kick off.
Defense, 5-yard penalty.
And a call goes in against the Claymores, which means
Scotland,
that the extra point of the field goal will be attempted.
They've called Scotland for delay of the game.
And Doug Williams has just gone up and said something to the officials, and more flags have come in, and I think Doug Williams has just lost his temper there. And half these players on the Claymore side were on their way to the locker room. Doug Williams stormed onto the field and said something, and a flag came down immediately.
On us?
We delay the game. How you gonna delay the game? You get it back off the field now.
What else can go wrong for the Scottish Claymores?
On the defense. Also unsportsmanlike conduct on the coach. There'll be a 15-yard penalty.
And that's Doug Williams. And it gives a free play to the Frankfurt Galaxy.
Now the first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, they've ejected Doug Williams, I think.
Who?
Troy Ridgely, I think, assessed for the first penalty.
The first unsportsmanlike conduct, Ridgely must have done something to keep the ball out of play or to get the center off the ball so they couldn't snap it.
And the ball has been moved deep. It'll be a 25-yard field goal attempt for Darren Alcorn.
Getting ready to put it down. You can't interfere with the ball when it's sitting on the green. That's how you got the delay of game penalty.
Hey, Tim! Get him off, Tim.
Tim Brown being shooed away. But you can understand the Claymores' frustration.
When it's sitting on the ground, you can't interfere with it that way.
I didn't know that.
Okay, and then the young sportsmanlike on 96 is for profanity, constantly right in his face, and didn't walk away from it. He gave him an opportunity, he chose not to do it. So that's his problem. And you got an unsportsmanlike on the coach for profanity kind of thing, right? That's what you got, and you're getting one half the distance.
Troy Ridgely
that would be first and goal for them.
Leaves the field, but doesn't have an awful lot to be proud of.
Okay, now Bobby Olive's tackled, and at this point it's a question of whether Frankfurt can get down and put the ball in play. And you saw the kick of the ball, which makes it hard. And there you see the linemen are standing over it. The center can't get down on the ball. It's actually a good call. It's the right call in that, because all they want to do is snap the ball and stop the clock.
Brian Jones just seemed to kick it away, and Doug Williams lost his rag as well.
That was the original call. Then Ridgely lost his, and he got the unsportsmanlike, and then Williams came in and got the unsportsmanlike as well.
The net result, a 25-yard field goal attempt for Darren Alcorn to end an eventful first half.
And Troy Ridgely has been ejected.
The kick is up, and it's through. So, as time expires at the end of the first half, Darren Alcorn tacks on another 3 points and 30 unanswered points for the visiting Galaxy, and they lead the Scottish Claymores 30-7. Scotland with a mountain to climb in the second half.
Hey,
Scream. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
playing this month on Direct Ticket.
Well, Ernie Staunton has been around this game long enough to know that you can never take anything for granted, but surely nobody can blow a 30-7 lead.
And he hasn't seen many first halves like this one, I could tell you that. But Frankfurt looking in control of this game. Their offense is moving the ball well. Their defense has Scotland stymied.
Sean Conley kicks it off. Fielded at the 20-yard line. And a return coming up here for the Galaxy to the 40. Their confidence soaring over to the 45-yard line. The Galaxy will get great field position straight away. Tony Harrison on the return. Scotland banged up and hurt, giving up a lot of penalties, losing players through injury as well. Jim Criner's squad severely depleted in that first half. Tom Scott out for the game. Alan de Graafenried has a chest problem. Williams out of there as well. The cornerback, he has a knee problem. Paul Justin twisted his ankle for the Galaxy on their first offensive series. He's gone for the game. Brad Brett's doing an outstanding job in relief. On the ground to Ingo Seibert, the German national, who plows his way through for a couple, no more than that.
And Scotland are not out of this game, but what they need is a couple of big plays. They'll need at least one from their defense, and when they get the ball back, they're going to need one from their offense as well.
Two there for the Frankfurt Galaxy, who dominate third quarters. Through the air this time for Brett's. Pressure comes. Brett rolls out, throws it away. Sensible play selection once again. He couldn't get a receiver, so he just got rid of it.
And Paul Justin tried to knock that ball out of the air with his crutch, as you saw over on the sidelines. He was the intended receiver. He was the only Frankfurt player near that ball.
Wants to just stay part of the game, Paul Justin, limping around on crutches, which will have longer-term implications for the Frankfurt Galaxy, who have a tough game in Barcelona next week. And despite those numbers, you wonder how Brad Brett will cope with that pressure situation. Bobby Olive split wide left. Brett goes to him but overthrows him. It seems as if Olive stopped running his route, and a couple of Galaxy players down, one of whom is Brett's.
And they're both getting up, but the pressure was there. You're going to get it from Alan Young on the bottom and Mike Brandon on the top. Watch Young right around the tackle. Brandon goes on the outside, doesn't get there, but there goes Brett's over the top of Alan Young. And there goes Kip Vickers over the top of Brad Brett's.
Darren Alcorn gets off the punt. Marcus Thomas tries to come across, but it's downed at the 18-yard line. So 1, 2, 3 and out for the Frankfurt Galaxy on their first possession of the second half. And Terry Carge comes in at quarterback for the Scottish Claymores, a fellow out of Central Washington, only a little fella. Brad Johnson, Jim Criner, the Scottish Claymores coach. There was a train of thought there.
You got Brad on the mind.
All these Brads in the World League. Jim Criner says Terry Carge is a little fella who thinks he's 6'7" and plays like it, and the players love him.
Really, the Claymores had to make a change. Matt Blunden not really getting anything done after the first play of the first half.
Carge stays on the ground. First of all, they try to get things moving with Saran Stacey, who really hasn't been much of a factor in this game.
And with the score 30-7, Saran Stacey's going to have to get the ball in the air as well as on the ground, because Scotland's going to have to pass.
Second down and 5. It was a better run from Stacey than it first appeared, working behind some pretty good blocks. Stacey in the backfield. Carge hands off again. Stacey bursts through the middle, gets over the 30, picks up a first down. Pickup of around 7 there. That'll move the chains.
Stacey was down before that ball popped out. Everybody jumping for the fumble, but they're getting the the drive out of that offensive line that they hadn't shown, apart from, again, the first running play of the half. Stacy just adjusting his shoe. The clock's running down while he does, so they're going to have to hurry to get this ball into play because they're down to 10 seconds right now.
So first down. Cards with his first throw, and it's a completion to Darryl Mitchell, the man that they're hoping will be able to show a very improved pair of hands. They thought he ran great routes, didn't catch the ball too well, but nothing wrong there.
He showed it there. Saran Stacy, nice pickup there. You saw the block to give Cards the time to get rid of the ball. And that's a good grab by Mitchell. Hands crossed, but he still brings it in.
He's been taking lessons from Scott Cooper on how to catch the ball, I think.
Well, actually, you want to catch that ball with your hands parallel rather than crossed in that situation, but it's okay. He made it.
Second down and around 4 for the Claymores. Karg pitches back to Stacy. Flags come in. Stacy gets a first down, but flags in the Claymores backfield would suggest that this one may come back.
And it's Sean Smith, the linebacker, who got clipped down. I think it was Ishmael who brought him down.
To hold against the Claymores. He can march that one off. Matt Blundin may be done for this game, and 65 yards on his very first pass and virtually nothing after that.
Stick a fork in Mac, because 4 for 13 for 13 yards after the first opening play touchdown.
And his confidence, you watched it drain away as the half wore on. It was sad to see. It was almost as if he didn't believe he could complete a pass. So after the penalty, Scotland had plenty of them in the first half. It's second and long. Card drops. Got a man over the middle. It's Aubrey Thompson, the tight end. That'll pick up around 10. Scott Cooper, number 81, was in on the play as well, the Scottish national, and he's staying in the huddle.
Terry Card's doing exactly what you've got to do. It's what Brett's is doing. You've just got to stand in there. He gets the time here, good protection, and then hit the open man. Makes it look simple. It makes it sound simple when I say it. It's not really that easy.
Third down and short now for the Scottish Claymores. Cards drops, gets pressure, goes down. A loss of around 8 yards. Nate Dingle was in there, so too was David Wilkins.
And Dingle, the outside linebacker, is going to come on the rush there, right over Stacy. Wilkins moving right up the middle. Bam Bam, who said it was easy?
So we now see the unlikely spectacle of Ben Torriero continuing to handle punting chores for the Scottish Claymores. Decent punt, which is going to be fair caught at the 39-yard line of the Galaxy. Torriero's got a decent leg on him. So Torriero kicks it away. It is still 30-7 in favor of the Galaxy.
Now that you've given her
Well, how about Ben Torriero punting? He's got a couple of decent punts off. Did you ever expect to see Ben in a kicking situation?
No, I'm not sure he did in this, but he's getting the extra kicks in because his form's a little ragged, but he's getting it on strength. A 30 and a 34-yard punt.
He may lead the league in punting after this.
Well, not quite with those numbers, but he's
wants to
height.
He wants to be the quarterback there.
I can do anything. Let's go single wing. Put me in the shotgun, I'll carry the ball. And, you know, I told you when we were watching Scotland in the practices, Ben is a good runner. In those scrimmages in Atlanta, he's got nice balance, catches the ball well.
But they haven't given him an opportunity to prove it either. That is long overdue. Nate Bolton gets the carry, doesn't get anything, runs straight into the defensive line. Mark Sander came up from linebacker and stopped as well.
And Frankfurt are coming out a little bit flat on the offensive line without that drive, and that's sort of to be expected when you're up 30-7. What they need to do is just perk the offense up a little bit.
Well, Mark Sander plays it tough all the time. Meanwhile, we have a Galaxy player down, Nate Bolton, who gets injured so easily.
And he
he's banged up.
He had a separated shoulder that he's just come back from, and that could be what it is again. 3 weeks, not much time to let a separated shoulder heal.
Now, it's tough for Ernie Stautner because you think he's got to want to rest his key players with Barcelona coming up next week in a game that they have to win.
Well, he definitely wants to get Nate Bolton out of there now with the injury. Give Craig Thomas a little play. They're starting. Craig Thomas needs to just get back into game form. Now Bolton's carrying the ball up the middle. He's looking for some space. He gets hit. He goes down, and everybody falls on top of him, and it's where the shoulder gets hurt. But it had popped out 3 weeks ago, and it probably just popped out again. They put him on the injured reserve simply so they wouldn't be tempted to play him, and they gave him 2 weeks to let everything heal up, leg and shoulder. And Craig Thomas, not a bad running back, but he's not the multi-dimensional threat that Nate Bolton is.
Although Thomas had a big game against the London Monarchs a couple of weeks ago. Bolton checks out for now. Ernie Stautner may have decided, let's get him out of there. Save him for Barcelona next week, which is a big game. Craig Thomas wondering if he's going to get some playing time. Mark Sander still fired up. We spoke to Mark Sander last week and we said, do you guys still get motivated for this? And this fella looked at us and he said, I do.
You can see it. You can see Mark Sander is in this game. And Mark Sander really has been an outstanding season at outside linebacker. Really should be bidding for an NFL job.
Well, they only lost it because of injury. Brett fires, goes upstairs, and almost picked off. Good coverage from James Williams, who's come back despite that knee injury. He had the path there ahead of Tony Jones, the smallest player in the World League, even smaller or lighter than Scott Cooper, 5'7" and about 150 pounds.
Tony Jones is small enough so that before the game, he walked past Nick Holling, and Nick Holling said, gee, that guy's small.
I dwarfed him.
And that don't happen often. And Williams getting his breath back. He's off the field now, so that injury's reoccurred. He had good coverage on that. In fact, Tony Jones nearly interfered with Williams.
Third and long. Alan Young gets some pressure. They flush him out. A flag comes in the backfield. It's picked off by George Coghill. And Coghill, with a return, gets down to around the 40. There is a flag down, but from where that went down, you would suspect it's going to go against Frankfurt.
And that is the first play where Brett's has let off.
Number 68, offense. Penalties decline.
Goes against Mark Dixon for the hold. They'll decline that.
And instead of putting the ball out of bounds like he's done before when he hasn't anyone to throw to, he left it on the field. Now he handles the pressure well. He's rolling out. Alan Young's not going to bother him. And now he throws. He sees the receiver. He's not trying to throw it away. He thinks the receiver's there. But Harrison can't get under it. And Coghill gets the interception. Now, this is the break that Scotland needed, the big play from the defense. They have to convert this into points.
17 yards on the return from George Coghill, who returned for a touchdown against the London Monarchs here at Murrayfield a few weeks ago. Carge gives to Stacey, who gets to the line of scrimmage, dances past, and picks up 8 tough yards. And that was an impressive run from Stacey.
Saran Stacey moves. He's a big guy at about 5'10", and about 200, bigger than Nate Bolton, but he's got that lateral movement that Nate Bolton has. Much more powerful runner, though. Now watch Stacey start, cut back, and then just take it through the hole into space. He hits it quickly. Great bit of running by Saran Stacey, seeing the holes that his line gives him.
Second and short. Carge goes upstairs, looks for Daryl Mitchell. Got him! Touchdown, Scotland! They needed that early in this second half, and Carge made it look very simple, and so too did Daryl Mitchell.
And when we're talking about Daryl Mitchell's hands, we haven't seen many long touchdown passes up the middle, and it looks like the Claymores are going to go for the 2-point conversion. Terry Carge wants it.
Well, they have nothing to lose going for 2 points, and Terry Carge, who Jim Kreiner said is a real leader and a gutsy, scrappy kind of guy. And Daryl Mitchell, who he said had a great pair of hands. They were going to try and get him open. Both those players coming up big time for Jim Kreiner there. So 2 points coming up. Carge under center. Takes a drop, pressure comes. He looked for Saran Stacey, just overthrown. The idea was right. If Stacey could have got it, he would have had some running room and could have got in, but it didn't happen. But they lose nothing by going for 2 points there. The extra point really not worth it at this stage. So 9:42 remaining third quarter, and Scotland begin the first steps in what could be a long fight back.
Here you see Mitchell moving under the pass and making the catch. We're re-questioning his hands. Another job. He used his body to protect himself from the defensive back. And here's Terry Karge. There's some confidence in that kid.
His first touchdown pass.
Yeah, you know, Nick, I would have taken the 1-point conversion, because at 30-14, you're down by 16, 2 touchdowns and a field goal puts you in the lead.
And you just wonder if Frankfurt have gone into the locker room at halftime thinking, we've won this game, let's look ahead to Barcelona.
Well, I was saying that they looked flat on the offense. The line wasn't firing out the way they were, and it's a sort of natural reaction.
Name one coach in the World League, actually I can think of a couple, but certainly Ernie Stautner is a coach who would fire up a team.
Go ahead, you name them. Answer that question.
I was just thinking if a team was flat, Al Luganbill might have some words as well, but certainly Ernie Stautner would get these fellas focused.
And you know, when Jack McNeil gets angry, people pay attention.
Indeed they do. Tony Harrison fields at the 13, looking to turn the corner, and gets it out to the 34-yard line. Flag comes in late from the Claymores backfield. This a real penalty-strewn game. Harrison applauds the flag.
And a nice job by Tim Brown to make that tackle, the 4th linebacker.
19 yards on the return from Tony Harrison, who's always impressed whenever he's had an opportunity to do anything. In fact, Harrison scored a touchdown against Barcelona. That proved to be very important for the Galaxy.
Holding, number 86, during the return, 10 yards.
That's another national
down.
player, Werner Hippler, who's done a pretty solid job as a blocking tight end. But a hold here.
You're going to see it at the top of your screen. That's Hippler, and he's pretty much holding Tim Brown, who makes the tackle anyway. That's a good call. Can't argue with that one.
So that pushes it back. Now, can this defense get fired up? Trouble straight away. Alan Young rather, and on the stunt, Ricky Andrews, number 58, just stormed in.
And they guessed right on that one, because Ricky Andrews was coming, and that forced the pulling blockers to go deep. That took the runner deep, and the big loss. Good guess by Scotland, taking a few chances and coming up big.
7 yards on the loss. And after that good return from Harrison, after the penalty and the stunt from Ricky Andrews, the ball is on the 15-yard line of the Galaxy. Flag comes in, he's got a man, Tony Jones, who is hit straight away by Darren Butler, who's in place of James Williams, who's injured, but flags on both sides of the field at the line of scrimmage. It's about an 8-yard pickup there, both cornerback and receiver very slow getting up, and looks like Tony Jones may be hurt. The officials calling for Frankfurt's medical team to come over and help. And Butler hasn't moved either. Looks like Jones is hurt because Butler hasn't moved.
He's still on top of Butler. They can't move either of them. Now Williams is off on the sideline getting treatment. Rodney Thomas has come back in the game. He's okay. Now they separate the two.
All seems to be well as far as Darren Butler of the Claymores is concerned. Tony Jones still getting some attention.
Both sides, defensive end, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, they take the penalty, Frankfurt. That'll bring up second and around 12. And it looks like Tony Jones is going to be okay. A lot of penalties in this game. 16 in total for over 100 yards.
I thought you called that face mask when they grabbed our defensive tackle's face mask.
For more, but I thought it went right across.
No, he grabbed his, he yanked his head around.
On one of your guys?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
yeah.
Jim Criner trying to be reasonable on the sidelines there.
That's a bad call, man.
It's about time.
After all the fireworks of previous games this weekend.
Well, we've seen 5 players thrown out of the games now in two days.
And a flag against an assistant coach, and all sorts of fun and games. The tension in the latter stages of the season. Tony Harrison is split wide right. Bobby Olive left. Brett goes out to Nate Bolton, who's still in there. And Bolton does well to pick up around 5 yards. There's another flag, is there? Rodney Thomas comes in on the stop. And there isn't a flag. I'm so used to seeing flags in this game, I thought another one went in.
It's always a good guess. You might as well say it. You're going to be right half the time.
You're right every other down at the moment.
Bolton did a nice job of getting around Brian Jones, the middle linebacker, who's out on the coverage.
Gain of 5 yards, but you wonder if you're a Galaxy fan whether you like to see Nate Bolton out there. 3rd and 7. Brett takes a deep drop, got a lot of time, broken up by Corris Irvin, who could perhaps have got an interception, but nevertheless he broke it up.
I don't think
Mike Bellamy couldn't get it, and there is a flag this time.
I don't think Corris Irvin was aware that the ball was there because he wasn't watching the ball. He had decent coverage, but it looked like it hit him off the shoulder pads.
Now who's this one going to go against?
Holding, number 60. Penalty is declined.
Justin Stark, the tackle. We're seeing more of referee Tom White than just about anybody else in this game. And that brings up a 4th down, and Darren Alcorn out to punt, whose number's very similar to Ben Torriero.
I knew you were going to say that. I could see that one coming.
I tell you, Torriero for all World League punter.
Ben's punting is going to become the talking point.
Well, when you name your all-World League team for the end of the season, Mike,
Ben Torriero will not be the kicker. Well, I got to say, Darren Bennett had a really bad day last night.
Marcus Thomas fields at the 45, breaks past one guy, still on his feet. Now he's got some room to run, and he could be gone. It's Darren Alcorn that stops him, but the Claymores are fired up this second half. If you thought they were going to give it up, forget it. They're hot. And they challenged Darren Alcorn there, and he held his nerve.
And we said they needed the big play from the defense, and they got one with the interception. Now they're getting the big play on special teams. Marcus Thomas takes a hit, breaks the tackle, and then heads up. He gets some blocking now. And now he's free up the sidelines, and it's only Alcorn who's coming. There's Hippler, who makes up some ground, but Hippler won't catch him. Alcorn cuts him down.
42 yards on the return, a punt of just 40 as well. So the Claymores on the move. Stacey with some running room picks up around 7 yards. A huge hole for Stacey there.
And you can see the difference momentum makes. That Claymore's line is really firing out now. And Frankfurt's defense knows that they're back in a football game.
And you wonder if for the first time in a long time there's some concern on that Galaxy sideline. Jim Kreiner, who's had so many rough things go against him, including in this first half as well. Lorenzo Graham is in the game. Alan de Graffenried also in the game as well. They fake. Karj under pressure gets hit. He is leveled by Don Reynolds, and Mike Stonebreaker was following up as well.
And now this is a tough one because what they're trying to do is they get a good fake and they're trying to set up the pass into the flat. Watch the fake pitch there, but it doesn't free. No one's open deep, and he looks for the short man and just gets nailed. Donald Reynolds with the pressure. Just covers him up.
De Graffenried splits wide right on 3rd down and 12. Karj gets pressure again, steps up, he's in trouble, he's got away. And with some running room, gets a block, still on his feet. That is as gutsy a run as you'll see anywhere. Another Claymore, very slow getting up, in fact still down flat on his back. And Karj has got it close to 1st down yardage.
He didn't miss it by much with that last one. He's going to be about half a yard short. And this brings up an interesting play. Now watch this. He comes right back up to the line of scrimmage and fakes the pass. There, now he goes. And it froze Tom Cavallo just enough that he goes over the top. Just like a fullback, going for that 1st down.
Well, it's spotted on the 15-yard line. Jim Kreiner has to get a long one
well,
from here.
Either that or I'll tell you the other thing I'm thinking about is going deuce.
As they consider what to do with 6 minutes remaining
or option
in the 3rd quarter.
We haven't
Karj has given this team a lift. You got the feeling with Blunden that nothing was going right for them.
16-17 is what I'm thinking about. What do you think? Nope, forget it. We're not going to do it. If he doesn't know, it's not going to be a play. Nope. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run deuce personnel, 27 lead. Deuce personnel, huh? No.
Okay, what they're going to do, a two-back set.
We don't have
watch for the tailback going around the side. He's going to follow the lead blocker through. It's going to be an off-tackle play, going wide.
Scotland on 4th downs this year, 5 of 8. And they need this one. Carge gives to Stacey, who's got it, still on his feet. But that's a first down for the Claymores. And they are making a game of this.
Huge 4th down conversion for the Claymores. And he's going to follow Lorenzo Graham to the hole, put his head down, and just bull forward. Gets the first down and a couple of yards beside.
What is it about these Claymores that they have to dig themselves into a deep hole before they start playing the way they can? First down. Movement on the line. Flags come in, whistles come in. Definitely some movement on Frankfurt's defensive front. The question for the officials is whether they were drawn or not.
Encroachment, number 63 defense. Prior to the
John
snap,
Baker from the LA Raiders, and Ernie Stortner will be looking at this third quarter and thinking, I don't like what I see.
And this is the third quarter team, remember, the Frankfurt Galaxy. 72-10, they outscore opponents. But sometimes it's just having a guy who wants to step up and take the lead, and that's what Terry Carge has done here.
Plus, I'm sure the Galaxy have come out thinking this one's in the bag, and they're all thinking ahead to Barcelona. That could still be a mistake. Carge gives to Stacey, and that was read all the way on a loose ball, and Carge recovers it. They're saying Stacey was down anyway, but a loss of around 3 yards. Don Reynolds, number 90, getting great penetration there.
Forward progress was ruled.
Another big play from Don Reynolds.
Scotland ball.
Watch him there at the tackle, just overplays the man. Beat the man in line of scrimmage, beat the blocker coming through, made the tackle, forced the loose ball, but Stacey was already down when the ball folded up. But that's another big play by Donald Reynolds.
A gain of a couple for Stacey. Would have been a lot more but for Reynolds. So 2nd down and long for the Scottish Claymores. De Graffenried in motion. Carge fakes the handoff, steps up into the pocket and will run again, trying to turn the corner, and only picks up a yard. Mike Stonebreaker, the middle linebacker, showing great speed to trip him up.
And it looked like Carge might have had the corner for just a second, but Stonebreaker made up a lot of ground. There you see the middle linebacker. He's watching Stacey. Now watch, he reads Carge. Now Carge starts to run. Here comes Stonebreaker. And now he commits himself to chase and makes the diving tackle. And a good one. He had help from Greg Briggs coming up, who could have made the tackle, but didn't need it.
Yeah, the Claymores media guide says Terry Carge is 6'1". I'm not sure I believe that. He looks about 5'9". Darryl Mitchell went in motion. They pump fake, they go to the end zone, and incomplete. Not much chance of a completion there, and Cecil Doggett came close to picking it off. But look at Terry Carge, he's dwarfed by everyone else in that huddle.
And thinks he's 6'5". I think that was the quote. Carge throwing on the run, doesn't get a whole lot on it. Nearly picked off.
4th down, is that Ben Torriero out there? No, it's Sean Conley. Conley will attempt a 27-yard field goal. And does it go in? They get a break, it hits the post and goes in. So 3 more points chipped off the lead. It's now Frankfurt 30, the rejuvenated Claymores 16.
Hey, 49er fans. Your team just completed a record-breaking season. Player of the Year Steve Young and Jerry Rice paced the league's best offense, while Deion Sanders tightened up the D. Together, they won an unprecedented 5th Super Bowl. So, 49er fans, what do you do for an encore?
We're going all the way to the
The official 49ers championship video is available now.
You have to have the talent. You've got to have the size, the speed, the talent to compete. The thing that you really can't measure is the heart. And then the other thing that you have to be made aware of as soon as you can is his ability to learn, to execute the detail of his assignment in a pressure situation.
NFL Sunday Ticket. Up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
Do you masticate, Mr. Lightbody?
Do I what?
Choo, 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 that is the Wellville Health Resort, a place for healing.
Just relax, Mr. Lightbody.
For cleansing.
I like to look at the new ladies.
And most of all,
Sex! I hardly recognize you with your clothes on.
Anthony Hopkins, Bridget Fonda, Matthew Broderick, John Cusack, and Dana Carvey in an Alan Parker film, The Road to Wellville.
Playing on Direct Ticket.
Well, the Claymores were in danger of being swamped. Instead, they've dragged it back to just a 2-touchdown ball game. 10 points in this third quarter, all the momentum with them. The question is, can they keep it going?
Another big defensive series is what they need, and that's the strength of the team. That's the one thing you look in the Claymores' favor in this kind of a comeback attempt, is that their strong point is the D.
Conley kicks it. Mike Bellamy is there. Fields at his 18. A very shallow kick from Conley. Bellamy runs into his own man and then is nailed down at around the 27-yard line. Ben Torriero comes up big time again. Well, who says the Scottish players don't contribute? Torriero is having a great second half.
Torriero is one of the big guys on the kickoff team. He's watching the ball, which is something you have to do. Keeps his eye on where it is. It's a short kick. You pace your run, you stay in your lanes, you converge on the ball. And if you meet somebody, you hit them. You don't go around them, because if you go around them, you open up space.
And that was Greg Briggs, the strong safety that Torriero just flat pushed him 5 yards back.
It's one of the things you learn. When someone's in your way, you don't go around them, because when you go around them, you open up space for the guy with the ball. You hit them. Even if you go down, you're forcing the ball carrier to go one way or the other.
Now, you've met Ben Torriero a couple of times, Mike. Would you want to get in his way on special teams?
No. That's an easy one.
Well, Amsterdam will host the World Bowl, as we all know, on 17th of June, Saturday week. They will play Frankfurt or Barcelona. Frankfurt have to win here and then go to the Montjuic Stadium in Barcelona next week and win there, and they'll go through. One Frankfurt loss this week or next week, and Barcelona will be the second half champions. The Rhine Fire and the London Monarchs are out of it.
That Frankfurt-Barcelona game will be a good matchup. Those two teams go at it, hammer and tong, back from the original World League days.
And that's a tough one to call.
Really. Even at home, Barcelona doesn't have the great home field advantage, but they'll get a good crowd for that game, and they're playing good football. They won on the road at Dusseldorf.
And a completion there, and good running room for Nate Bolton, who gets to around halfway, a pickup of 20 yards on the completion from Brett to Bolton. James Spencer, David Wilson combining on the stop.
And you talk about whether you'd like to have Ben Torriero coming at you on the field. How would you like to be Corus Irvin and having Kip Vickers coming at you? There's Vickers leading Bolton on the screen, and watch that. Out of my way. And
Vickers stayed with it.
Corus does a nice job of keeping in the way, but 275 pounds of Kip Vickers bearing down on you.
From the NFL's Indianapolis Colts. Back on the ground to Crazy Legs Bolton, who's looking for running room. Mark Sander stayed with him. And Nate Bolton just fell over rather than take the hit.
And you know, that's one of the things, you made the point, do you keep Nate Bolton in at this point? And I really think it looks like he's running okay, but he doesn't want to take any unnecessary hits. And you might be better off with Thomas, or even giving Ingo Seibert another chance.
Well, Seibert has only carried the ball a couple of times, didn't do anything wrong. Thomas, I don't know why they're not using him.
Well, he's coming off injury as well. Maybe a thing they may want to protect him too, but you don't want to lose Bolton.
That's a big part of your offense gone if Bolton goes. Trouble, loose ball, fumble, and it's still loose. Now, who's got that? The Claymores think they've got it. What a turnaround in the second half. They've got it. Mike Brandon forced it. Brad Brett's lost it. And this game is being turned around in this second half. Alan Young comes up with it.
Mike Brandon's coming down from the left end spot, top of your screen. He's beating McCullough. McCullough's got him around the neck. That's a hold all the way, but he still gets a piece of the ball. And then Alan Young's going to be the guy who finally comes up with it as Brett just can't get it back. But look at that. McCullough's got his arm around Brandon, and Brandon still gets his hand into Brett's and gets the ball loose. And Brett's trying desperately to bring it back in, but Alan Young takes it away from him.
So the Claymores take it back. We have a game here. Carge takes a deep drop. He's in trouble. Gets past three guys, still on his feet. How did he do that? And he's still there. What a big play from Terry Carge. And I tell you, you can feel a big momentum swing in this stadium.
And if I'm a scout from the Canadian Football League looking at Terry Carge, I'm saying this guy can do what we need. Watch this. He's scrambling in the pocket. He gets hit once, he gets hit twice, he gets hit 3 times. 3 separate players get their hands on him, but nobody gets a shot. Then he gets around Sean Smith. Then he moves inside of Cavallo, and it's finally Stonebreaker who makes the tackle.
And it's second and short. They show blitz. They go on the ground to Stacey, who trips past, may just be short of first down yardage. The Frankfurt Galaxy sealed the hole, but they're back on their heels, the Galaxy.
Stacey had a little running room there, but bumped into his own blocker. But 6 tackles. Terry Carge made 6 guys miss on that scramble. Tremendous running from Terry Carge.
And there's a sense of belief and purpose about this team now. They were dead at halftime.
When you've got a guy playing quarterback who can do that sort of thing, who when you're in trouble can get you out of it, the rest of the offense picks up as a result.
Out come the chains to see just how close Terry Carge got. Looks like it may be short, which will bring up a third down. And, well, about a foot and a half.
And, you know, we thought Matt Blunden had done this for Scotland in that win over Frankfurt, because he made the really big play, probably the biggest play we've seen all year.
Yeah.
To win that game in the last seconds, and you felt the team was going to go on a roll, but it just didn't convert in the rest of the season. It just didn't happen again.
And that was Blunden's greatest moment, way back in week 3. That amazing pass down to the 1-yard line that set up the win. Third and short. Stacey gets it, great burst of speed over the 35. First down Scotland, and they are rolling.
Nothing fancy there, just straight ahead blocking by the left side of the line. Stacey put his head down and went through, knees high, tough to tackle, first down. Andre Hewitt, Hisham Ismail running behind the left side of that line.
Well, these Claymores come into White Hart Lane next week. And on the evidence of what we've seen here, I wonder if Terry Carge is good enough for a start. First down. They fake to Stacey. Carge goes upstairs looking for DeGraff and Reed, and it's broken up. That was an important defensive play from Jack Kellogg.
And nice play. You see why he's a top-rated cornerback, because DeGraff and Reed had him beat, but he recovered in time to get back on the ball, went at full stretch and deflected it away.
Didn't go for the interception, knew he had to just break it up.
Right, you see Carge, he's looking for DeGraff and Reed all the way. And it's not a badly thrown ball, but Kellogg just gets there, a little bit behind DeGraff and Reed.
But what a dramatic third quarter this has been. All Scotland. Carge fires, just thrown before Darryl Mitchell was ready for it.
And that one was behind Mitchell too. That was a dangerous pass because Kellogg had interception written all over it.
49 seconds remaining third quarter, and a big third down coming up now for the Claymores. They've been third and short and fourth and short, but this is 3rd and 10. And you think, given the position that they're in, they may even decide to go for it on 4th down here.
Huh? No.
DeGraff and Reed goes wide left, 5 defensive backs in for the Scottish Claymores. Lee Harris is wide right, Mitchell in the slot. Carge with protection needs to get rid of it, and it's picked off. And down at the 30, Cecil Doggett.
And Carge waited on that one, which was a good thing to do. But when you're a receiver, you've got to keep moving on that. Because Mitchell was standing still, he waited and saw Mitchell, but all Doggett did was stay off of Mitchell. And you'll see Cards now, he's going to get a little bit of pressure, but he reacts okay, just steps and waits. And Doggett was just staying off Mitchell, and because Mitchell's standing still, he can step in front and take the interception. You'll see the ground level now. Mitchell was there, but it's a dangerous pass to throw because you don't see that defender who's just lying in wait.
And a big sigh of relief on the Galaxy sidelines. Pressure comes, and out he goes, and it's a first down, and a heads-up play once again from Brad Bretz.
Brad Brett says, okay, you think Terry Carge can scramble? Well, I can scramble too.
And Bretz comes back to the huddle limping.
And they won't like to see this because the third quarterback, Brian Forte, hasn't done a whole lot this year. Let's take a look now and see if we can see where the leg may have suffered. He's looking, picks his way through. Somebody grabs it there. He gets a stumble. He doesn't even feel it at that point. And Bretz takes it for the first down.
First down, Young comes again. Bretz goes over the middle. Brian Jones batted it away. Bobby Olive was the man they were looking for.
That's 2 for Brian Jones now. Twice he could have had the ball in his hands.
One of them's going to stick one day.
That's right.
And Nate Bolton got up very slowly again. Brian Jones has been solid all year. And so too has the Frankfurt Galaxy secondary. Cecil Doggett is the nickel back in there. But whenever he's come in, he's always impressed. Pressure comes on. They've got him. Down goes Brad Bretz. Nailed for a big loss, and this time he did hang on to the ball, but they came after him. James Spencer, the former Barcelona Dragon, nailed him.
And Brian Jones was the guy, middle linebacker blitzing. Watch him right in the middle of your screen, and right about here he beats the block, and right about here is where Nick says it got him, and Bretz almost gets away, but James Spencer says no you don't, and comes over the top. Jones hangs on for dear life at the bottom. James Spencer comes in over the top. And you see Nate Bolton, what you were saying, Nick, he's playing hurt. He just couldn't stop Jones coming up. If his shoulder's hurt, he's not going to be able to throw that block. It's just a physical thing.
I'm really surprised to see Nate Bolton still in there. The end of a very eventful third quarter. The Claymores are coming back, but it's still Scotland leading 30-16.
This month, Direct Ticket invites you to ride the waves and surf the slopes with 2 great titles that deliver a double helping of fun. First, forget Baywatch.
Oh my God.
You haven't seen real babes on the beach until you check out the hilarious antics of the Bikini Squad. Then, hit the slopes and see who can claim the title of King of the Mountain. In the sexy sequel, Ski School 2. It's a double dose of sun, surf, and snow with a Bikini Squad and Ski School 2. Playing this month on Direct Ticket.
So the Frankfurt Galaxy have 1 quarter to hang on. The Claymores will be looking to pound it out for 1 more quarter.
And you got to ask yourself a couple of questions. One is, if Frankfurt's going to pass, why is Nate Bolton in there? Because you know he's not going to pass block. Secondly, why don't they run the ball? What you want to do is eat some time off the clock. Ernie, got a couple of questions for you.
Well, no doubt there's a good reason, but I can't for the life of me see what Nate Bolton is in there for. He's playing hurt. And with a big game next week, and on third down, the Claymores show blitz, and they're coming up, and it's caught by Bolton. And Bolton is hit back at the original line of scrimmage. Scotland hold firm again, and Brad Bretz was flapped by Brian Jones and gets up very slowly. He's playing hurt now as well. Alan Young in there as well.
And that's why Bolton was in, because this is his kind of play. They set up the screen, Bretz takes a beating, and they're coming after him. You notice they don't slow up when he lets go of the ball. And it's just a great play by George Coghill to cut through the 2 blockers to slow up Bolton enough for Wilson to make the tackle. Coghill doesn't cut through those 2 guys. There's a big problem.
The punt drops at the 23-yard line of the Scottish Claymores. 14-15 left in the ball game. Frankfurt have done nothing this half, and I think this fella is starting to feel the strain. It looked so easy first half as he completed 19 out of 23. Welcome to the World League, Brad.
And they're looking at his leg, which is a bad sign, but I'm sure he's going to come out right now. Come back out the next time Frankfurt have the ball. Especially when the trainer's leaning on your legs. There can't be that much wrong with them when he's putting his weight on them.
Kaj gives to Saran Stacey, whose running has not been a factor in this game. Frank Messmer, number 99, the German national, coming in and stopping Stacey. Messmer, who was playing Division 3 German League football with the Constance 89ers, just impressed Stortner and his coaching staff and just seems to get better and better.
They say what they like about him is he's picked up the little nuances of line play really well. There's a lot of big, strong guys playing in Europe, but not a lot who have all those little tricks that you need to know.
So 2nd down and 10. Kaj in trouble. This time they don't let him get away. The follow-up was from Nate Dingle, but Mike Kerr was the man that made the play.
And Frankfurt have got their defensive momentum back. They've got the Scottish line on their heels. And you see it coming around Stacey. There's the pressure from Dingle. And Kerr coming up the middle.
Kaj wondering if the magic has worn off. 3rd down and 18. Stortner impassionate as ever. 3 wide receivers in, 6 defensive backs in for Frankfurt. And they hand off on the draw play, and Saran Stacey doesn't even get back to the original line of scrimmage. So we may see Ben Torriero again.
And you will see Ben Torriero's coming on that. It's not a bad call, but the thing is, when you're running those, the pursuit is so great. You got guys like John Baker, 290 pounds, who are able to run Stacey down from behind on that play.
But here he is, the punting find of the season, Ben Torriero. Am I going a little strong on this, Mike? He leads the team today.
Right. If he was a car, someone would be calling up to buy it right now.
Safe hands again. Torriero gets it off end over end. It's going to take a hop at the 45 and keeps on going, or would have kept on going if David Wilson hadn't stopped it, and it's down at the 38. The only way you stop a Ben Torriero punt is when your own teammate gets in and stops it. It's Frankfurt leading, 12:28 left in the ball game, 30-16.
Pass. And then as the play unfolds, you follow it. If it's a running play, you go to the point of attack, knowing what we have to get done in order to make the play successful. If it's a pass play, as the quarterback goes back, then I immediately transfer my attention to the coverage down the field, because the coverage then dictates what the quarterback does with the football.
NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
There's a place in the Big Apple where New Yorkers rush to be on the cutting edge. It's Jean-Louis David. A touch of Paris right in the middle of Manhattan. So if you're looking for a new you, drop in anytime at any of their locations. You don't need an appointment, just your Visa card. Because when it comes to your hair and Jean-Louis David, American Express just won't cut it. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
And to this reporter, it's obvious that these strike negotiations are going nowhere fast.
Well, I've had just about enough. Let's go. Excuse me.
Love the shoes.
What were we thinking? After you. No, after you.
Life is good.
When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good.
Our work here is done.
Play ball.
Imagine walking through a doorway that could take you 1 million light years into the future.
What a rush.
My orders were simple. Track down signs of any possible danger. Well, I found some.
This month, dare to enter the Stargate. Playing on DirecTicket.
Well, Frankfurt still lead it by those 14 points, but the runaway that we were expecting at half-time hasn't materialized. the Galaxy are going to have to fight to hang on to this lead.
We haven't seen a quarter like that from the Scottish Claymores in a long time. And it's still a ball game. It's still 2 scores if the Scottish defense, which has been playing pretty well, can come up with another stop.
Brad Bretts has felt some heat in that third quarter as well.
Scotland's gambling a bit on defense now.
They have to.
They're sending the linebackers, which what they have to do. They could get burned sooner or later.
Bretts gives it to Ingo Seibert, who gets nothing. Maybe that's why we're not seeing Ingo Seibert. Alan Young getting great penetration and a loss of 5 yards on the play.
Alan Young chasing it down from the end. Gerald Jeffcoat coming up from the middle. Young's on the right side of your screen, 94. You see Spencer holds his man and Jeffcoat comes in. And a good play by Young. James Spencer hasn't been doing a bad job for a guy who hadn't seen much playing time either with Barcelona or Scotland.
But Alan Young continues to impress. They blitz once again. The pressure comes, he gets hit, but he gets his pass off and it's close to first down yardage. Corris Irvin may just have stopped Bobby Olive. A flag goes down where Bretts was hit, which suggests it's going to be a roughing the pass-up call.
And they've been coming after him. Exactly what it is. They've been coming after him hard.
15 yards and it'll be tacked on to the end of the play.
Be worth taking another look at that one. That looked a harsh call at first glance.
And Tim Brown wants to ask the referee about it. Tim Brown to Mr. White, he's laughing about it, but they've been coming after him really hard and making sure he gets hit. And he knows Bobby Olive's got single coverage here against Corris Irvin, so he doesn't have to get a whole lot on it. Irvin laying off Olive a bit, then comes up as the ball's thrown, makes the stop. But with the roughing call, it's a first down.
The Scottish Claymores defense needs to come up with another big play here, a fumble, an interception. They take whatever they can get. Seibert gets it, runs into trouble, doesn't get a lot. Gerald Jeffcoat and Brian Jones were there. Seibert had such a big game in the first game when these two teams met, but has struggled ever since.
And the thing with Seibert is he's basically a straight-ahead runner. Now watch Brian Jones, 53, the middle linebacker, reads the blocking, comes in and cuts Seibert down. And the thing with Seibert just doesn't see him coming. He doesn't have that kind of read and move facility yet. It's not used to having linebackers that quick coming at him.
1 yard gain, they show blitz. Bretts back to pass, pressure comes, and Bretts does what he did in the first half, throw it away. An official was flattened by George Coghill on the sidelines, and it's the official up first. And they breed him tough.
Nice hit, George. didn't bother me at all. And you saw on the rush. Now see if the sticks stay in the right place.
It's one of the chain crew guys, actually, not one of the officials. The tough guys up here in Scotland.
And you saw on the rush the tight end Brasher trying to handle Alan Young one-on-one, and that's always going to be a tough assignment for him.
Chain gang guy was saying how he handled George Coghill one-on-one.
It didn't hurt me at all.
Third down and long. Bretts gets pressure. Dumps it off to Seibert, who makes a good catch, but can't get close to a first down. Tim Brown stepped up. They're going to be about 7 yards short. Good pair of hands there from Seibert.
And Tim Brown saying something to Seibert at the time, and that's the kind of stuff we saw yesterday. It got really blown out of proportion yesterday in that game, which got intense in the fourth quarter. The World League has done a pretty good job of trying to keep it to a minimum.
Darren Alcorn will punt it away. Marcus Thomas, who had a good return last time, standing at his own 3 yard line. A low one looking for the corner, going out of bounds at around the 13. So there are just under 10 minutes remaining. It remains the Claymores 16, the Galaxy 30.
The old adage, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. You know, I think about that a lot. So if something happens and we lose the football game, what I want to do is to get as much out of that negative experience as I can, and then use it the next time that we have the chance to compete.
NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
Michael Jordan To find what you desire requires a great effort. You look thirsty. Gatorade?
Thanks. I've come.
I know why you have come. You wish to know the meaning of life.
And?
Life is a sport. Drink it up.
That's what I figured.
Roy Jones, pound for pound, the best fighter in the world. Virtuoso power, precision quickness. Vinny Pazienza, relentless, courageous former champion. Miraculous career of beating the odds. The stakes have never been higher. It's the Devil and Mr. Jones, sheer will versus pure skill. Live on direct ticket Saturday, June 24th from Atlantic City. 9 p.m. Eastern on Channel 101 for only $29.95, live on direct ticket.
So the Scottish Claymores have the ball on their own 15-yard line. Alan de Graffenried, the deep threat, is split wide left. The Claymores have to put 7 on the board in a hurry. The pitch back to Stacey. Stacey with some running room here. First down, still on his feet, trips up and picks up around 30 yards. Eventually Tom Cavallo came up and stopped him with some help from Chris Hall, but Stacey broke one open for the first time this afternoon.
And watch the blocking. There's the whole line pulling left. It's got Andre Hewitt, the tight end's doing a good job. He cuts behind the two of them. And now he's out in the open field, and de Graffenried's going to get the hold up there, just turning him around, and Stacey keeps the feet moving.
Well, it's been a bits and pieces game for Saran Stacey, but that run takes him to 100 yards for the day, and that'll be 100 and about 3 inches. Not much doing there at all.
And you want Scotland to come back after the big run by Stacey with something a little bit different. Outside, something going long, something to Stacey out of the backfield, a little play action to take advantage of it.
Meanwhile, the clock continues to run. We're under 9 minutes.
Stay right and left.
This, the Claymores' last home game of the season, still looking for that first home win. Carge fires, got a man. De Graffenried is hit by Chris Hall, hangs onto the ball, and it'll be a pickup of around 6 yards. Looked like de Graffenried wanted to fall down and couldn't quite do it. And Hall gets up slowly now.
And you know, this is a tough league to stop the clock in. Stacey went out of bounds on the run, and the clock kept going. Now de Graffenried running a little out pattern, decides to try to cut back in for extra yards, but Hall isn't letting go. A good tackle by Hall. He gets help from Smith, and you saw Smith tries to strip the ball away, which is a good play for the second man in.
De Graffenried's third catch of the day. The first one was a touchdown. And another one. This time it goes out to Lee Harris. That does stop the clock, and it's a Claymores first down. 8 minutes left. Big Tom Scott back out on the sideline for the Scottish Claymores, incidentally, and standing up as well.
And we were asking a question at the start of the game, do these players really care? A 1-7 team coming to the end of the season. Well, they really do.
I'll tell you, Tom Scott, if we get a chance to look at him, he's got the biggest pair of shorts I've ever seen in my life. Meanwhile, first down, they stay on the ground. Stacey cuts back, looks to repeat the trick. He's got a first down, goes out of bounds, stops the clock. The Claymores on a roll. Johnny Dixon pushed him out. Chris Hall was there too.
And it's Saran Stacey's acceleration that makes this run. Take a look. Saran Stacey now, he's carrying it up the middle, and as he goes left, this is basic running right there. See how he's changed his hands? Now he's protected the ball from any tackler who's going to come near him. That's the thing you learn when you first start playing football. A lot of guys ignore it, but they ignore it to their peril nowadays.
All the way to the 26-yard line. And a timeout called. So Terry Carge goes back to the sidelines. And there's Tom Scott and those shorts. You could make a tent out of those, Mike.
You could make 2 pair of trousers for you if you took the bottoms in a little bit, Nick.
Well, the big fella, 380, lovely fella, great attitude. And let's hope his injury isn't too serious.
A lot better if we win this game, man.
Hear him saying, I feel a lot better if we win the game.
Can't see what's going on behind those Foster Grants.
Stacey, incidentally, closing in on 1,000 yards for the season.
There There you saw Dennis
All
Dahlke.
purpose. Sorry, Mike.
You saw Dennis Dahlke, 69, who stepped in for Tom Scott and hasn't done a bad job.
Well, Dahlke's been here from the start. He knows what's going on out there. So Saran Stacey, who does it all for the Claymores, looking to become the first player this season to reach 1,000 all-purpose yards. Another 46 will do it. Stacey tries to pick his hole, gets past the first guy, gets out of bounds, stops the clock, short of first down yardage. But this is very smart play selection from the Claymores.
Well, the same acceleration that got Stacey the big yardage got him any yardage on that, because he should have been stopped for a loss. And the clock's still winding its way down. The Claymores have to put the ball in the air at some point, but look at the blocking he gets. He had a little space inside off tackle if he could have made it, but he breaks the tackle there and gets yardage anyway. Picked up about 5 on a play that could have been stopped for a loss.
Closing in on 4 figures. They stay on the ground again. Stacey somehow manages to break one tackle, but he's in trouble and just pushes his way forward, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Johnny Dixon probably the first one there. Don Reynolds there too, but the Galaxy read that one all the way.
And that 2nd and 5 is is the time you have to get off Stacey. He's run 4 plays in a row. It's time to get the ball in the air. It's time to use him as play action. Defense is keying on him. Use that as a way to get your receivers open, to get your quarterback more time to throw.
So that brings up a big play here for the Claymores. 3rd down and 6. And not quite there. It was close, looking for the tight end, Dwayne Chandler. If he'd been another 6 inches taller, he may have got that. That'll bring up a 4th down. Although they're still showing 2nd down on the far sideline. Now they've moved it to 3rd, but this is a 4th down play. Some confusion on the chain gangs here.
Yeah, they missed the last. Now they've moved.
Now they've got it.
Tell the official.
The Claymores have to go for the 1st down.
A field goal not much good at this stage of the game. They need touchdowns, 2 of them.
4th down, not
There's
3rd down, 4th down.
From our referee, Tom White. We've seen rather too much of him for my own personal taste. A lot of flags in this game. Can Terry Carge work the miracle? 4th and 6, they need to convert this one. De Graffenried wide right. Harris wide left. Mitchell in the slot. And they've gone for Harris, and it was too low. Harris was well covered by Chris Hall. So they fail on 4th down. Out come the Galaxy again.
Frankfurt brought both linebackers, so they're rushing 6 men. Carge had to hurry the throw a little. You'll see here come the linebackers right in the middle of your screen. So Carge rushes the throw and he doesn't get a good one off. It would have had to be a great one to be complete. And I think that comes down to play calling, because I think they went once too often to the Saran Stacey well.
So it's all down to the defense again, and the clock now a real factor. 6:20 left. Scotland still need 2 touchdowns. Nate Bolton still in there. Picks up 7 or 8 and into the secondary. Mark Sander coming back and making the stop with help from David Wilson.
And here things work in Frankfurt's favor, because Scotland have to gamble on defense, and Bolton's the kind of runner who can punish you if you do, because he can get by the first man. If you send your linebackers to penetrate, if he gets by them, then he's into the secondary and he can get big yardage.
6 yards for Nate Bolton there. They tried Ingo Seibert on the last series. Ernie Stautner going to his favorite running back here, and he gets it again. Spins through and very close to 1st down yardage. They should spot that for a 1st down. Corris Irvin in among the tacklers. That should move the chains. And here's a fellow who's played himself to a standstill. Mark Sander. Spent 3 years with the Miami Dolphins and had a horrific hand and wrist injury that kept him out for nearly a year. Just wants a chance to get back and play in the NFL. He's certainly earned a shot at a camp this summer. Bolton once again breaks 3 tackles. George Coghill eventually coming up and stopping him. But Nate Bolton's so slippery. And he's closing in on 100 all-purpose yards on the day.
He's so slippery, he slipped out of his shoe as he was going in, and he gets great blocking on this, and he gets the second effort blocking from guys like Brasher on the line. Now look at the drive in that line. McCullough closes the hole off, and he just squirms out of Brandon's grasp, loses his shoe in the process. Brasher comes up to help. Now here you see from the low angle, see how he gets nice and low behind the blockers. Now watch, just squirms his way through. He's so low there that they hit him, and he just straightens up, and he's out.
Ingo Seibert looks to turn the corner, goes one-on-one with the defensive back and picks up the first down, does his job.
Thomas coming up from the corner, met Seibert's shoulder. Seibert just put the head down and gave him the knock and kept going.
That's something we saw about Ingo Seibert in the first game between these two. He doesn't mind going head-to-head with an opponent.
So once he's around the corner, he's a powerful runner. He's got a lot of speed. He just puts the head down. He doesn't really see where he's going, but he knows the contact's coming.
First down, Frankfurt, 3:47 left. Seibert gets it again. Just plows straight in to Corris Irvin, who decides against tackling him, letting Seibert take himself down, a pickup of around 6 for the former Munich player.
And here's where the Scotland defense has been on the field for most of the game, a long time. They're starting to really feel it. And Frankfurt's offensive line is firing out. They've got Hippler back in, so they're back with the 2 tight end look. In fact, Hippler's moved into the slot, standing up now.
Bobby Olive's wide left. Scotland show blitz. They give to Seibert, who is flattened. Great penetration for the Scottish Claymores there from Alan Young.
And James,
the flag's gone down.
There's a little fighting going on in the middle of the line, but you saw Seibert ran right into Young and James Spencer coming forward.
Seibert had no chance there.
Someone like Nate Bolton would have stopped, taken the sidestep, and maybe gotten around them. But Seibert just doesn't see that. He can't react quick enough.
Suddenly there was a big blue wall in front of him.
Now look at there you see the linebackers coming, and James Spencer, no one picks him up. Young comes on top of Spencer, and Seibert there it is. There's a good look at it. See, Seibert's down, his head's down. Someone like Bolton might have he would have only had one step to do it, but he would have had a reaction to it. That's the difference between the two as runners.
Ricky Andrews there, the linebacker. And we still wait for the verdict on all those flags. Definitely a scuffle there. Let's find out who the culprit or culprits were.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 62, continuing action foul.
Toby Mills, the center.
Still second down.
So after the tackle was made, a continuing action foul. I don't know what Toby Mills' continuing action was, but they get the down back, but lose a lot of yardage, which is good for Scotland, but we're down under 3 minutes to play, so we're into big time play territory. Scotland need a turnover desperately, and they need to be able to convert it immediately.
2nd and 25, they're coming after Brett. Brett gets it off, he's got Bailey, who picks up around 7. Thomas and Sander converging on the stop, but the clock continues to run.
What Frankfurt need now is simply the first down. If they don't get it, they can punt it away, and Scotland will have less than 2 minutes in which they've got to get 2 scores, and it's going to be a tall order.
Bretts has completed 21 of 33 for 3 touchdowns and around 250 yards. A very accomplished performance from him. And unless something sensational happens here in the last 2 minutes, it's Frankfurt that are going to Barcelona with a place in the World Bowl on the line. That is the 2-minute warning.
Sideline warning on Scotland.
Well, the clock is down to 2 minutes.
please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 18 seconds, please? Thank you.
So they've reset the game clock to 2:18. Brett's so hot in the first half, he's found it tough in the second half as the Claymores have really dug in. But nevertheless, an impressive outing this from the man from Cal State, Hayward. Pressure comes. Brett just throws it away. That will stop the clock, and that will be the 2-minute warning, with the Frankfurt Galaxy leading the Scottish Claymores 30-16.
Sam used every wall in the house for a backboard.
Yeah, he looks just like me anyway, so I think he got that from me.
He can do that maneuvering and get by.
I like to see Kenny when he steals it. He can steal a ball. 58 feet out.
Swish. He makes me feel 10 feet tall just to talk about him.
Kenny would get it.
Guess he got it from his mother.
Meet the Furpo brothers. Alvin's a thief.
Excuse me, the sign says take a pen, not take all the pens.
Dave's a liar.
You're incapable of telling the truth.
That's a lie.
And Bill's a genius.
I'm getting this feeling you're not telling me something.
With all their talents,
This feeling you're getting is paranoia.
nothing could possibly go wrong.
I'm robbing a bank!
The bank is across the street.
Oh.
Let's just go.
Trapped in Paradise on Direct Ticket.
A much better performance in the second half, this from the Scottish Claymores. If only they'd played like this in the first half, it would be a very different game. As it is, Jim Kreiner must know there's not enough time. 1:58 left, his team down by 14, but he's made the Galaxy work for it. Third down and 12 for Frankfurt. Vital for the Claymores to stop them here.
And we had a penalty while we were away, which gives them another chance at it.
Brett hands off to Nate Bolton, who manages to elude the tacklers, and that's a great run from Bolton, who could be gone. Brought down from behind by David Wilson. Nate Bolton so quick. When he gets into open field, you think that's it, and Wilson showed a great turn of speed.
And what we were talking about before the break, Nate Bolton met a tackler as soon as he got the ball, but he's quick enough to be able to take that one step and get away from him. Now watch when Bolton gets the ball. Right there, Spencer's got him, but he breaks away. He keeps control of his body and gets away, and now he's in the open field, and it's amazing that he got caught.
So Bolton well over 100 yards all-purpose now. 101 yards rushing. And it brings up a first down. The pitch back goes to Ingo Seibert, who spins and twists, and that's a great run from Seibert, and it's a touchdown. Gutsy play from Seibert, and that will do it.
And you see Ingo Seibert's power, because he finally breaks that first tackle and then gets around the corner and in for the score. And there's some happy players there. Ingo Seibert deserves a touchdown.
You were just trashing him there, Mike.
I wasn't trashing him. I was pointing out the difference in styles. And you see he breaks the tackle. He breaks it well, but he breaks it with power. He doesn't break it with quickness and reactions. He has to use his power to do it.
So Ingo Seibert picks up his second touchdown of the season. The extra point from Alcorn, no problem at all, 37-16, and that sets it up for next week for the Frankfurt Galaxy. They will go to Barcelona with a place in the World Bowl on the line.
And here's Seibert. Now one good move, and then gets those feet moving, lifts it up, goes for the corner and sees it, and gets the ball in. That's a good run.
So Frankfurt on a roll now, and you can't begrudge this fella the touchdown. Real gutsy fella.
He heard what we said about him. But that looks like a good game next week. Frankfurt, Barcelona. Doesn't get any better than that. Winner goes to the World Bowl, loser goes home.
James Spencer, who came from Barcelona, just walking back there. Scotland deserve a little bit more than what they've got out of this for that second half showing.
That third quarter was a gutsy play because they really had all the wind taken out of their sails in the second quarter. They got outplayed, they got some bad breaks from the referees, but they came out, they played well in the third quarter and well into the fourth.
Move them up.
Move them up. Hey!
Well, they gave it everything they had, the Claymores, but it looks like they're going to emulate the Raleigh-Durham Skyhawks of 4 years ago in going 0-5 in home games. Squib kick, not taking any chances. Torriero, who seems to be everywhere at the moment, blasts past one tackler as if he wasn't there, all the way to the 52-yard line. Day to remember for Ben Torriero. So Torriero, with his 5th kickoff return, he's had punts, he's had all sorts of fun and games, and this, something he'll remember. But his team not going any further after this. It's all down to Frankfurt and Barcelona. Barcelona, if they win that, will have the better overall record, so they will go to the World Bowl. Frankfurt, of course, if they win, they'll have the better record. They will go to the World Bowl. It's finally balanced for next week in Barcelona.
And that's the way it should be. Head-to-head, winner take all.
Jim Ballard in at quarterback for the Scottish Claymores, the former London Monarch. Ballard fires incomplete. Well, Jim Ballard will be back at White Hart Lane next week when the Scottish Claymores visit the London Monarchs. Only national pride on the line there. Elsewhere, the Rhine Fire will try and douse the Amsterdam Admirals, but the big one, Barcelona v Frankfurt. Everything on the line in that one. The Dragons have home field advantage, and both those teams will go into that game on a winning streak. That's the big game next week for certain. Second down for the Claymores, 48 seconds left. Ballard gets some pressure, gets away, got a man in open field. Flag goes down. Definitely a suspicion of a face mask against Ballard there. Dondre Owens coming up and making the stop.
That's what it is. Face mask against Frankfurt.
Well, Frankfurt and Barcelona look like they're going to get it on next week. And that first game really could have gone either way. Frankfurt came back to steal it.
That's right. It was an interception in the last minute of the game that won it for the Galaxy over the Dragons, who had the lead. That was one of those 2 games in 2 weeks where the Dragons threw away leads in the last minute of the game.
That was definitely one of Jack Bicknell's how did we lose that games, wasn't it? But Ernie Stortner will go up against Jack Bicknell, 2 of the smartest coaches in the World League.
And the Dragons coming off a big win in Dusseldorf, 31-21 last night against the Rhine Fire, which knocked Rhine out of contention.
Ballard with time, got a man. Leighton Harris is pushed out of bounds by Chris Hall, but a first down to the Claymores, 35 seconds left. Can they finish it off with a flourish?
And Jim Ballard on the target with a nice pass.
Well, flags really have been the story of this game. Scotland closing in on 100 yards of penalties. And I'll tell you what, Frankfurt aren't far behind them.
And really, I think the one flag, if you're gonna, we hate to harp on about it, but if you're going to talk about the flags, the one flag that really killed them was the Bobby Olive fumble in the end zone. The Raleigh-Durham Skyhawks.
Remember them. Ballard got a man wide open. Dwayne Chandler can't get out of bounds. Is down just short of a first down by Dondre Owens. The clock continues to run. 24 seconds and counting. Ballard trying to get his men back. And Kreiner furious on the sidelines. And a timeout called. And let's hear what Jim Kreiner has got to say to Jim Ballard.
Your helmet not on?
Your helmet not on? Huh? Your helmet not on? You hear me on the timeout? Where we at? Hey, team, this is what we got.
And we're going to go for 2 after we score.
Okay, this is what we got. We got trip right.
You can call Jim Kreiner many things. You can't call him a quitter. He's still trying to win this game.
We're going to go for 2 after we score.
The hash mark's over there. Hash mark's over there. Hash mark's over there.
Unfortunately, they need 22.
Balls. Okay, they really have to explain it to Jim Ballard because he's only been with the team 3 days. But what they first said was trips right, which means they're going to put 3 wide receivers out on the right. And of course, the ball's on the right hash mark, so you don't have as much room to work with. So now watch the inside receiver going out on the left side of your screen. The man in the slot should be heading out.
18 seconds left. Watch Scottish Claymores.
Watch Lee Harris, who's the man in the slot on the left side of the screen.
Ballard, pump fakes, goes wide. Got a man, but it's incomplete. Lee Harris just slipped and the ball not perfectly thrown either. That will stop the clock with 14 seconds left.
And Harris was in the slot. He went out, the man wide of him came in, and it looked like he was open.
Scott Cooper has got in the game, number 81, and he's splitting wide right. That would really set the Murrayfield faithful home in good heart if Cooper could get his hands on the ball here. Ballard drops, Cooper is open. They throw instead to Lee Harris. They didn't even look at Cooper, who'd got open. Harris was open as well, but the ball from Ballard overthrown. 10 seconds left.
And you don't get more open than Lee Harris was in the middle there. Now Scott Cooper's over on the right all by himself, and Ballard's looking, nice move. He's through there. Linebacker in the way, but he's saying, oh gee, I was open.
Ballard never even saw him. 4th down. Cooper still there. Flags come in, and Ballard looking the other way again.
There's a certain inevitability to those flags coming in with 10 seconds to go in the game.
We're closing in on 200 yards of penalties in this game.
False start. Left guard, 5 yards, moving prior to the snap, still 4th down.
Well, push it back another 5 yards down to around the 13-yard line. Well, certainly Ballard hasn't been looking anywhere near Scott Cooper on the 2 previous plays. Lee Harris has been his man, but Cooper got open last time. Maybe time, well, this will be the Claymores' last play unless they convert. It's 4th down. Ballard drops, looks away from Cooper. He's got a man, Lee Harris. Touchdown. They finish with a flourish with 1 second left.
And you've got to admire the never say die Scottish Claymores.
And they'll go for a 2-point conversion here.
And really, you know, what they're going to be thinking now is who starts against London, Terry Carge or Jim Ballard?
Well, I think that's a pretty straightforward one if you ask me, but maybe my thoughts should be kept to themselves. The 2-point conversion from Jim Ballard, who drops. Stacey delivers a block. He's got a man. 2 points. Dwayne Chandler. And they go out of this game with their heads held high. 37-24. 1 second left. But this, so much better from the Claymores. And you've got to credit them.
And
they didn't give up.
And Jim Ballard, it's been a long World League season. He gets his first touchdown. He wants the ball. We've said from the beginning, he hasn't been consistent when he has played. He hasn't played much, but he's got the arm. He's got the tools there. Terry Carge obviously should get the start next week. He's played really well, but there's got to be some playing time in the future for Jim Ballard.
Well, consistency has been the Claymores' problem all season. They scored on the very first play from scrimmage. They've scored on the last play from scrimmage. Now, if they could just get the other 59 minutes sorted out, they'd be a hell of a team.
Such an easy thing. I'll bet you wouldn't find many games. It was the quickest score in World League history, and that's probably the latest score in World League history.
Well, 1 second left. An eventful season for the Scottish Claymores at Murrayfield.
And they haven't given up yet because they're going for the onside kick. And the man in the middle of the pile who's going for the onside
it's
kick.
Ben Torriero. Who else?
What, of
Number
course.
44. And Jim Kreiner still, with 1 second left, still arguing. Like I say, credit this team. A lot of clubs, a lot of coaches would have just packed it in and waited for the first bus home, but not Jim Kreiner and not the Claymores. I tell you, London v Scotland next week, it looked a formality on the first half showing, but if the Claymores of the second half show up at White Hart Lane next week, that's going to be a game.
And the Claymores, For the Scottish fans here, it would save their season. A 2-8 season with a win over London in the last game would be a fairly successful season.
Well, talking to some of the fans before the game, they said, oh, we're coming down to White Hart Lane. That'd make our season to win there.
And Jim Ballard knows a lot about the London Monarchs, too. Their scouting report's going to be a little fuller than usual.
Oh, they've made it 4 seconds. They've added 3 more seconds on, which gets a big cheer.
That gives them a chance to run off a play if they can come up with a quick recovery on this. Doug Williams is out there orchestrating
and
it on the sideline.
Suddenly Ingo Seibert's touchdown run becomes big, because say they did recover this and add 1 play, they could actually win it. That beyond them now, thanks to Seibert's touchdown. But that's how close the Claymores have come.
A nice onside
hop,
kick.
and it's recovered by the Claymores. The clock goes down to 0. Torriero in the thick of it, but Ricky Andrews recovered it. It was a textbook onside kick. But that will do it. Ernie Stautner thought it was easy first half. He's been made to work for it. But the Frankfurt Galaxy have won it 37-24. The Claymores get a lot of credit for sticking to their guns, but it's Frankfurt that go into Barcelona next week very much alive. It's down to Frankfurt and Barcelona to see who joins the Amsterdam Admirals in the World Bowl 2 weekends from now.
Head to head, and I like the Dragons in this one. Jack McNell is my man, and we're going to go all the way.
But they're 2 well-coached teams. That could
Definitely.
go either way.
Absolutely.
So it's all over for the World League season at Murrayfield. Credit the Claymores with fighting back, but Frankfurt won it 37-24.